I didn't even start the stream. I'm over here talking to myself. I didn't even start the stream. I'm so. Oh, I need to get better at this. Oh, that's going down in history. I'm over here talking to myself. I swear, if I record any of that, that's gonna be funny. It's actually gonna be funny. Let's see. I hope I can be heard. Okay, yeah, I can be heard. I can tell from the fact that my keys are typing. Okay. Let's pop this just in just random areas at this point. Welcome everybody. Debunking slash rebunking, whatever people call it at this point. Key scale. I guess I'm debunking his scale, rebunking Bleach. It's kind of both. Doesn't really matter. We're just gonna go over the entire video. It won't really be me trying to rescale Bleach or something. I'll just be go over everything he does wrong. Cause I honestly don't really want to debate with Key. If I'm fully honest, I can go over the entire like conversation me and him had, where like he was just rude the entire time. But we're not gonna go through that. We're not gonna start no controversy with him. Um, just gonna make sure a couple more people get in here before we start anything. Because there's three of you in here right now. I don't know how many people are joining. Because quite a few people voted on the poll. So just a matter of if people are actually on or not. Is my audio fine though? I'm just gonna post that in. Oh man, you guys can constantly hear the keys typing. I'm gonna try to reduce that sound. Give me a second. Oh fuck, I just made like 50 recordings doing that. Okay, that's way too loud. Okay, is this fine? Are you still able to? No, that's too low. That's too low. I'm just gonna keep it. Oh, now it's too low. I think it's too low. I don't know if I'm fine. I'm just gonna turn this up. There. Just do that. Hopefully that fixes it. I don't know if it does. I'll be honest with you. I don't have too much prepared for this. I'm just gonna jump straight in once a couple more minutes pass, and just go through everything he says. Because I kind of forgot most of what he says at this point. I remember looking back over it a couple times here and there, but not the entire thing. So we're just gonna go about this fresh. See, maybe watch it at first and say a few things. I might want to turn off my Discord notifications because it's going to be funny as hell. Otherwise, nah, I'm going to keep them on. It's going to be funny as hell every once in a while, just hearing just like a ping come from Discord. That's going to be funny. Adds a bit of immersion. Do people want no copyright sounds? That's what I need to know. While we going at this like normally, like, do people want something to listen to in the background while my voice just rambles on for like 30 minutes to an hour? I don't know how long this is going to be. The video, like one of the videos are 12, one of the videos are 10 minutes long. So I'd say at least 30 minutes if we're pausing. But might be longer. Hopefully nobody just walks into my room. Do I have my... Yeah, okay, don't have my face cam on. That's good. That's good. I don't want my face cam on right now. How many people on? Not that many people here. Okay, so I think we'll start off with this. People can just join, rewind, or join and stay with the stream if they want to be staying with the stream. Just gotta make sure everything's looking fine in terms of my bitrate is screwed. That's exactly what I was thinking of. My bitrate is screwed. That's fun. That's fun. Anyways, I think I'm just gonna get into it. People will join as the stream goes on, probably. Is there like... Ah, that should be fine. Key... Okay, I have that up. I don't know what screenshots I'm gonna need, but I have a bunch that I just have saved over time. I have a couple of explanations over time saved up, so everything should be fine. I really hope Steam notifications don't show up on Steam. They shouldn't, but I hope they don't. Let's see this. That's Naruto scaling. I do not want to be here. I want to go to where my Bleach stuff is. That's Beru. There we go. Okay, there's a bunch of stuff that I'll need. There we go. Do we start off with the cosmology or speed? That's what I want to know. I'm going to give that decision to you guys. What do you want to start off with? Cosmology or speed? The most recent one that seems to have gained quite a bit of traction a couple of days ago, or the one that's like a month old now, the speed one? What are we saying? What do people want to go for first? I really don't mind. I have my water bottle here. I'm going to be talking. I need it. I have my water. Okay, my audio is fine. I just had to double check. Okay, so speed. People want the speed scale first, from what I'm seeing. We'll start off with speed then. Nobody else is saying anything, so I'm gonna switch this over to the speed one. That should show up on stream pretty fine, I'm guessing. Just want to double check if it does. Just waiting for stream to catch up just to make sure everything's fine. Speed is the worst one. Okay, it shows up a little bit on the... Oh, I just opened up Minecraft by accident. We ignore that. Do this. Get it more in frame. There we go. That should be fine. I'm guessing that's fine. Fine? Yeah, that's good enough. That's gonna be fine. We're fine with that. If I need to put anything else on screen, I will. Probably want to turn off my chat and stuff. Facecam off, game layer off. Just turn all that off for now. We just want this video up for now. We're gonna go over everything. Okay. Wait, is this playing? Oh, it's muted and playing.
Listen to it.
That's funny. I was like, why the hell is it moving all by itself? That's funny. It'll be really funny if I make this video, he copyrights me. I'll just take it down. Because, like, I'm honestly doing this for you guys. I asked you guys if you wanted it. You guys said yes. You guys are the ones that voted for me doing the live debunk in the community poll, which I will put up on screen right now. You guys are the ones that voted for me doing this. So I'm gonna do it because you guys asked for it. Okay, but yeah, let's get into this. Speed scale, spiritual light thing, most of my thing. Okay, I have my explanations for that. Don't worry. I'm gonna. Can I pop these in here? Yeah. Okay, I can pop all my screenshots just in here. That's fine. Okay, we're gonna be doing that. We're gonna be doing that. Okay. Oh, we have the thing right down here. Wait, let me show you guys. We have the like cosmology scale right down here. We can just click on it once we're done with this one. That's lifesaver. Okay, let's get into this. We're gonna watch a little bit, and then I'll pause whenever something just off happens, and then we're gonna go a little bit back over. This is my first time doing a live debunk, whatever people want to call it. So I'll just go with how my brain goes. If I get locked in randomly and I just start like doing it in my head, I'm gonna realize it probably, hopefully, or you guys say something in chat and I'm probably gonna see it move. Anyways, let's start.
Recently, I've seen this statement, which many people use to try to claim that Ichigo has been faster than light, even before.
Okay, I'm gonna really quickly say this. I already know that this is like very 50-50. I actually don't know which guy this is. I haven't looked into this. So, and I don't really use this to scale to light speed. This is like, well, what it says is, hello, I'm wondering if we talked about about light and speed of light. Zero has been used many times. Did Kubo Sensei ever talk about them before being the speed of light in general? And like, yeah, we talked about Bleach is light speed. For me, Mr. Kubo, special thanks and techniques are fast. Mr. Kubo to me directly. Zero is as fast as light. I don't know who this guy is, I'll be honest. I can't say anything to this specifically. If it is anything, it just supports, it doesn't debunk, it just supports the idea of Zero's being light. If this isn't true, it doesn't debunk the idea of Zero's not being light speed. So I think this is either neutral for us, or in any case, the only thing is you can't downscale Bleach from this. You can only upscale it from it. Like, there's not... Other than that, I don't really see much purpose in talking about this. He debunks it. I'm not really going to look into it because even if this gets debunked, it doesn't change anything, realistically. Because if Zero's from this, if this is wrong, like if this never happened, if he never spoke to Kubo and Kubo never said this, it doesn't change the fact that in the data books it was said. But we're going to just move on from this. Like, I'm going to actually move a little bit forward.
For Zero and such other attacks being light speed.
Okay, wait, let's hear this part.
Contradicted by the manga. Now, our
Wait.
society arc, and it's pretty laughable because it's heavily contradicted by the manga.
Let's get into why it's contradicted. He says it's contradicted, so there has to be things opposing it. That's what contradiction means, so we get into what he thinks it
arguments
is.
for Zero and such other attacks being light speed were made many times based on the databooks calling them light. However, something being called a light does not automatically make it light speed. For example, light can simply mean something that emits light, something that is shining.
The issue is, it's not... Okay, we'll just redo that and continue it, and then I'll go back to it.
Being called a light does not automatically make it light speed. For example, light can simply mean...
For people who want to read this, I'll leave it up for a second.
Something that emits light, something that is shining. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's made of photons, and we can very...
Okay. Okay, he's taking this hyper literally. Photons don't move like that. In any case, it is stated to be spiritual light, not physical light. We'll get that off the fact straight away. It's stated to be spiritual light, not physical light. Therefore, it may not abide by the same laws that physical light would, usually. First of all. If we go back here...
It doesn't necessarily mean that it's made... means something that...
Here. It can be a source of light, like light can be a source of light. But Zeros themselves are stated to be spiritual light. Oh, okay. That's kind of funny. I'm not gonna focus on the comments too much. But what I'm trying to say is, he said that it can be a nominal fallacy, or it may not even mean that it's directly light speed or something like that, because it could just be emitting light. The issue is, Zeros themselves are made of spiritual pressure, Reiatsu, Ryoku, whatever people want to say. It's Reiatsu, realistically. Zeros are made of Reiatsu, which is spiritual pressure, and they are called spiritual light. The Zeros themselves are the spiritual aspect, and if they themselves are the spiritual aspect, they are the spiritual light. Therefore, the Zeros are the light. We don't always see Zeros release light. Sometimes we don't see them release light. It's not a mandatory thing for Zeros to be luminant. We've seen some Zeros with that. It's not the case. Of course, it's art direction a lot of the time that, you know, concludes that. Like, we've seen Menos, something being a certain color. Like, for example, I'll bring up the first Menos. Well, actually, I'm not going to bring it up here. I'm going to bring it up in a separate tab and show it. It was episode like 14 or something. That's a reaction video. I'm gonna go to the scene. gonna get to the scene of the Menos. Throw that in here. That probably shows up on stream, right? I'm just waiting. Because Setos themselves are the spiritual light. The Setos themselves are spiritual light. They're not like emitting. They are emitting light, but they themselves are the spiritual light. It's stated that Setos are spiritual light. He's saying that light can be just something that's emitted. Like when we go back to his video, if we find that statement that he made, which is about here. Actually, I don't even know where. How far have I skipped forward or something? What is? Oh no, I don't even want to see that scene. He says it can be a source of light, but the Setos themselves are the light. So you can't say that they are a source of. You can't say they're a source of light if they themselves are the light. Light emits light because light is light. There can be a light source that emits light, but if Setos themselves are light, it's like saying a literal beam of light is not light. It only emits light. That is the equivalent of what he's saying, if that makes sense. That when put into practice, it just doesn't make sense, what he's saying. Anyways, as you can see, the Menos here, it emits this red glow, which you could say is light, or you could... I think my explanation makes perfect sense, that if something itself is light, it can emit light. It doesn't... If something emits light, it itself doesn't have to be light. But... Man, this is my first time doing this. I suck. Anyways, I'm gonna just... Because I suck at phrasing shit, I'm gonna... Pardon my language. He says that it can be a light source. That's what he said. I'm just gonna redo it again just
light.
So people
However,
get...
something being called a light does not automatically make it light speed. For example, light can simply mean something that emits light.
Something being called light doesn't automatically make it light speed. That's a contradiction. Because if you use basic physics that we use for calculating light speed, something which is light is universally light speed in a vacuum. Something that emits light, like, for example, lightning, for example, it's slower than light. The light we see from lightning is slower than... Well, the light we see from lightning is light speed, but the lightning itself is slower than light. If that makes sense. But if Setos themselves are light, they aren't lightning, they are light. They themselves will be light speed.
Something that is shining. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's made of photons, and we can very clearly tell that these attacks...
In fiction, not all light has to be made of photons. Just in general, not all light has to be made of photons. Especially when it comes to different types of light, like for example, spiritual light. You have to prove the existence of spiritual photons. You don't have to prove the existence of spiritual photons to prove that they can be spiritual light. We see light sources in the Soul Society. We see stars, we see this and that. There is spiritual light. You don't have to prove that there's photons to call it spiritual light or light in general.
Are not made of photons, they don't work like... Blah 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 blah. This author said that Zero is light speed and that Kubo also said it's light speed. Blah 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 blah. First of all, this looks extremely fake. I would need a screencast in order to make something that an average brain rot Powerscalling would author, which is when the author says something that is directly contradicted by the story. Because we know that Zero cannot be light speed. Because we have examples like Gin saying that his Bankai is...
He lied about that. Like, directly stated that he lied about the speed of his Bankai. He never said it was faster or slower. He just said he lied about it. Like, let me bring this up just immediately, because I have this saved. He directly lied about his Bankai. Now we get into somewhere where I can just talk. Here we go. It doesn't stretch as long as I said, and it doesn't stretch as far as I said. That's what he says. It doesn't stretch as long as I said, and it doesn't stretch as fast as I said. That doesn't mean it stretches slower. That doesn't mean it stretches faster. It's just not the speed he said. So you cannot use that argument. It doesn't make sense to use something that was literally stated to not be the case.
it's only 500 times the speed of sound. He literally claps his hands and says, "Do you hear that? The speed of my Bankai is 500 times that," referring to the sound. And then he says that this would make it the fastest Bankai, the fastest Zanpakuto, which means...
Okay, that's a very weird statement Gin made, because Zanpakutos themselves are the speed of their user. So saying that a Zanpakuto is the fastest, when we know that Gin's Zanpakuto is the only one that can change form in that sort of way, it kind of just makes sense, because Gin's is the only one that can, like, change its form in that sort of way. Like, of course, Bankai changes your form. Zabimaru can extend and stuff, fair enough. But Gin's straight up just extends as well. Like, it just doesn't make sense. That statement itself is very vague, and I wouldn't use it to scale stuff, because the Zanpakutos are the speed of their user, usually. Usually. And when it comes to Zanpakutos extending and stuff, you only see rare cases like Gin and Zabimaru, where Gin's is obviously faster, but he lied about the speed. And Zabimaru's, we know, is... It just doesn't make sense. It's a very vague statement, and it wouldn't make sense to use that as your main point of argument, especially to a person saying something is a certain speed when it's not that speed.
That 500 times Mach is faster than any other Zanpakuto at the time. And obviously a lot of people say, "Oh, he lied to Ichigo," but that doesn't matter. The fact of the matter stands that he's presenting 500 Mach as something that's impressive, and Ichigo is even shitting his pants when he...
Oh, okay, this part is funny, because Ichigo literally lets himself get hit to drop Gin's guard and blitzes his Zanpakuto. This literally happens in the manga. He lets Gin's Zanpakuto hit him, like, literally tracks it back and outspeeds it to get to Gin. The only part that Ichigo didn't know is that it practically instantly, like, retracts. Like, I think that was stated. Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that, actually, now that I think about it. I'm not 100% sure if it instantly retracts. Don't quote me on that. But he didn't know the retraction speed. That's it. Like, he was shook by the time it retracted. Which obviously is a showcase that Ichigo, if the extension is alive, or let's say it's 500 Mach, he was fine with it. He didn't get hit unless it was to drop Gin's guard, where he almost caught Gin because of it. And then Ichigo put in his mask, which would make him faster, yet the Zanpakuto was still faster than him, proving that it's more likely faster than it is slower. So that's not a good argument to use.
Here's 500 times Mach. In fact, Gin even implies that his Bankai is actually slower than 500 Mach because...
He doesn't imply that it's slower. He just says it doesn't stretch as fast as I said. It's like me saying I don't run at 10 miles per hour. I don't run as fast as I said. If I tell somebody I run 10 miles per hour, and I say I don't run as fast as I said, it could mean I run faster or slower. It doesn't imply with either one. It just means it's not that speed.
He says, "It's not as fast as I said." The implication is obviously that it's slower. If you think...
You need more evidence to back that up. Like, you can't... Especially when there's evidence supporting the idea that it's faster, you need evidence to back up that it has to be slower. Because if Ichigo's mask version was still struggling, when his normal Bankai was able to outspeed it, that says enough.
That's inconsistent. Another Bleach novel directly says that Candice's normal lightning attacks are
secondary canon. And also... Wait, I forgot what this says. Let's read this, because I'm actually jumping too far ahead. I'm just saying stuff at this point. Let's read. Something came flying down the horizon. A flash of lightning. To be more accurate, it was a single extremely ruthless arrow, entirely covered in high-voltage electricity. Hey, are you... No, I'm not going to say the quote lines. Though it was much slower than an actual lightning bolt. The Reishi arrowhead was quick enough that it would approximately be said to be going at lightning speed, even though it could just barely sidestep it. There was no way I don't... I need source of this. Because it's a cropped out image from the Config... If it is Config Your Own Word. It's been a while since I read Config Your Own Word, so I can't confirm it. But I have a cropped out image of this, or anything to, like, show me the source of this, so I can go read it myself, I can go investigate myself, I can see the Japanese translation. I need some sort of bibliography so I can go see this and confirm whether this is the case. This isn't even written by Kubo, it's supervised by him, so it's secondary canon, first of all. So anything in the manga that may contradict this is more accurate than this, to go by that, which there's a lot that contradicts it. So I need some sort of bibliography, some sort of way of getting my hands on this from the official source.
Actually slower than a natural lightning, and it also says that Ginju was barely able to sidestep it. Like, even though it's from a long distance, Ginju was barely able to even sidestep it. So these characters aren't even lightning speed.
The reason I don't trust that is because some of the most popular Naruto, Dragon Ball, even some other anime like fact files, some of them are forged. Like, there's popular Naruto and Dragon Ball ones that have completely forged that, like, spread like wildfire, and, like, thousands of people believed. So, like, if a lot of people believe in that, I'd expect that. But the issue is, nobody really questions where it comes from. Like, I'm pretty sure he didn't link anything. Yeah, he didn't link anything in his video, so we can't actually see for a fact. You know? So, I'm going to take that with a grain of salt. I'm not going to take that too literally because there's no further proof of it. Unless it's suffered directly from the manga or from the data books, which I can remember. I can't fully remember all of Calm for Your Own World. That's like telling me to remember all of the Bleach manga.
Like, Ginju was literally able to fight Ichigo post the Aizen arc. He completely destroyed the...
This continues on that, so I'm not gonna, worry about it.
Ishida post Aizen arc, who should be captain level in speed. So even the Bleach novels agree that even someone like Candice, who is pretty much a high tier in the verse, like she's literally captain level. Her attacks are slower than a natural lightning. Of course, it does say that she has a single attack that's faster than a normal lightning, but that's irrelevant, because that's an exception, that's not her average attack power and attack speed. So yeah, the show makes it very clear that these characters aren't light speed. If Zero was light speed, Ichigo would have to be light speed or faster than light even during the...
Okay, so let's go over it. He used 3 arguments. One, that Zeros themselves are not light speed, while saying that they can just be emitted in light. He doesn't actually give a proper debunk of whether or not they are light speed. He just says they could be a different definition without giving further proof. He says that the Mach argument for Gin's thing, which I've already said why it's wrong, he said it isn't as fast as he said, and Holified Mask Ichigo struggled against it after his Bankai was able to outspeed it, meaning that his speed is more likely faster. And then now he talks about this feat for Candace,
lightning. Of course, he does say that,
which, if it's faster than lightning, fair enough. If it's lightning speed, like, it's secondary canon. If the manga contradicts this, which it does, and he's saying it doesn't, it wouldn't make sense. To be fair, I was salty at the start of this. Now I'm, actually getting the hang of this. This is my first time doing it. I'm actually, we ignore that, though. Like, the longer the stream goes on, the better my arguments will be.
that's a single attack.
Anyways, let's skip forward a little bit.
What the manga and the novels directly say within their story.
What the manga does not directly say within its story, since it does say it, but it contradicts it later, 1 through actual feats and 2 through direct statement.
It has way more value than what Kubo may or may not have said.
Okay, so this Kubo, he may or may not have said, it doesn't matter once again. There is enough proof to go for Setos being light speed that Kubo's statement doesn't really matter. Like, in the data books, it states they're spiritual light. If Setos themselves are spiritual light, which I'll get into why that's important later. Well, actually, should I get into it now? We'll get into it now. Why the spiritual light statement does not matter. I'm gonna pop up a few screenshots now, one by one, and show you guys everything. This screenshot isn't getting into my Firefox. There we go. Let me hop here and centralize this for you guys. There we go. Let's go off the manga. That face tells me you don't get what I'm saying. Do you think only living things have souls? I want to remind you guys, the reason this makes sense, the reason this statement makes sense is because if all non-living and living things in the world of the living have souls, it would make sense for soul balance. Because in the Soul Society, souls live for at least 10 times longer. Therefore, there are at least 10 times more souls. This is further proven by the fact that Yamamoto has killed trillions of people. Therefore, the soul balance would not make sense if there's that many people in the Soul Society and that many people in the world of the living. So therefore, if non-living things have souls, the soul balance will make way more sense. Does everybody get what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Because, like, that is the most logical argument that you could think of to explain what Ginjo is saying there. Because clearly there's way more people in the Soul Society because they live way longer. If people die so quickly in the world of living, the soul balance would eventually get displaced. But because non-living things have souls as well, it would just make sense that the soul balance is held by non-living things as well. Okay, I hear one true in the chat. Then we move on to the next one. All things in this world have souls, not just creatures and plants. The amount of souls is small. There we go. The smalls of non-living things is small, but it makes up. Even telephones, poles, and chairs, glasses have souls. He's saying every non-physical, not non-physical, but he's saying everything that doesn't, everything that's non-living has a soul as well. He says everything. Just now, I pulled out the soul from this alcohol in the glass and Jesus, I pulled out the soul of the alcohol in a glass and made it help me drink it. He literally uses the soul of water, which is a non-living thing. Or here, by drawing out the soul of asphalt, which is a type of concrete that people use, it assists our repulsion and enables us to jump higher. As for liquids, we can make it fly into our mouths, as you just saw, or have it support us under our feet so we can stand on water. Literally everything here implies that non-living things have a soul. This further supports my idea that Zeros can be light, because they are a non-living thing, and if it's a spiritual light... Wait, what was my argument for this? Wait, my brain's blanked. Oh yeah. If non-living things have souls, everything in the world of the living would have a soul, even if it's extremely minuscule. This would include photons. Therefore, spiritual light can also work the same way, because if photons have even a little bit of a soul in them, which if everything has a soul, even if they have a little bit of a soul in them, it means that they are not truly non-physical if they are in the spiritual world, which actually more so supports spiritual light being faster than normal light, but I'm not going to go there because I'm not trying to like go crazy with this right now, but it more so would support that. The idea of photons having to matter more so supports spiritual light being faster than normal light. I'm just going to continue, because I think this is enough of an argument. I have a couple more maybe. And also, actually, I'm going to bring this up now since we passed the Soul Society arc. In his case, we've passed to the point of end of Thousand Year Blood War. But this audio feat, it was very, very much just straight up implied. Like, it wasn't like a sort of thing where it's like, usually, when this happens in manga, wait, is this showing up for you guys? Okay, there we go. It's showing up now. Usually when this happens in a manga, it seems like there's a shadow still there when a person moves, but it's not usually stated, or not usually like, oh god, I'm moving my own stream. Or not usually... what I'm trying to say is that outright here, Orihime just straight up says, his expression is different from before, his movements are different too. For a second, his shadow was there, but he wasn't. That is what she is implying. That he is faster than his own shadow. And if spiritual light is at minimum light speed, which, of course, using the analogy I just gave before, it can be, like, more. This is a direct speed saying he is faster than his own shadow. We know shadows are the same speed as light because it's just the absence of light. Therefore, light couldn't get there in time, which is an FTL feat, not a light speed feat. It's not 1C, it's 1C plus. Therefore, all you hear is already faster than light, which supports what I'm saying and debunks what he's saying. We'll continue with his video now.
On some off night where he was talking to some random movie narrator, And this is another thing. The source isn't as reliable as some Bleach fans want to claim. This isn't somebody that worked on the Bleach anime. This isn't somebody that worked on the Bleach manga. This is just somebody that has written a few Bleach movie novels, which are novels based on the movies. And those aren't even canon.
The first movie is canon, and he did write about that. You actually use some of that evidence inside of your second video. So I don't really want to hear the I need to move this back up here. Sorry, guys. Yeah, the first movie is canon. Sorry to say that. First movie is canon. Of course, it's secondary because it's not fully done by Kubo, but it's canon.
Somebody that
there it is. Memories of Nobody, right there. 2000. Wait, no, it wasn't that. Yeah, it was. Memories of Nobody was the first movie, right? Am I not going crazy? Am I going crazy or Memories Nobody was the... I'm fact checking this. Memories of Nobody. They did a novel of Memories of Nobody, or root part of it, or works. They worked on the Memories of Nobody. They worked on Bleach 2018. That doesn't make sense. I'm not going to look into that. But yet, they worked on Memories of Nobody, which is a canon source. They do have some sense. I'm not saying they are fully in the right of what they're talking about, but they have worked on canon sources directly correlated with Kubo that Kubo supports. And Memories of Nobody is canon. People use it to scale, even downscale Bleach, which doesn't actually work out, because there's literally a guy, I forgot his name, there's a guy on TikTok, like, near fluent in Japanese, who literally, like, debunks all the, like, wrong, like, for example, gravity was never stated in Memories of Nobody, fun fact. That was just a mistranslation on the English sub, or dub, I forgot which one. It just says pull force, which, or like, I think it was supernatural pull force or something. The same way Orihime repels, like, the context was that it's pulling in. That was the same context, but I'm not going to get too into that. This is the speed scale. I don't know if he mentions it. I forgot if he mentions it in his cosmology scale, but I'm just saying this person does have some validity. It's not completely. He hasn't done everything non-canon. So just gonna continue this.
Written a few Bleach movie novels, which are novels based on the movies, and those aren't even canon.
Memories of Nobody is canon.
Because the movies are what's canon, the novels that depict the movies are never mentioned to be canon. So yeah, get this garbage argument out of here. Now, there are two other arguments that I've seen people use for Lightspeed Bleach, which are also very laughable. The first one
We'll see if they're laughable. I forgot exactly what they are, but we'll see.
is Yuryu moving so fast that he left
It's funny how I brought that up, like, literally, like, 3 minutes ago.
a shadow. And this is completely irrelevant for two reasons. The first issue is that we are told that anything that enters the Soul Society must be made of ratio. Ratio being a spiritual particle with different properties from normal stuff that we see in the living world. This means that the light in the Soul Society is also made of that spiritual particle, which
I'm generally just gonna, like, I just mentioned this. I'm just laughing right now. Give me a second. I was like, just now, I just like, the Uryu feat debunk. This feat is laughable. I'm gonna go back. I wasn't paying attention.
With different properties for two reasons. The first issue is that we are told that anything that enters the Soul Society must be made of ratio.
Yeah, the same way things are made out of physical stuff. Like, you know.
Ratio being a spiritual particle with different properties from normal stuff that we see.
Reishi does not take properties from normal stuff. It is a soul particle that makes up soul beings. Which I've already mentioned why souls can still be like light speed. I've already mentioned all of this earlier.
In the living world. This means that the light in the Soul Society is also made of that spiritual particle, which isn't a photon.
I've already mentioned why photons would have souls. Therefore, this entire point he's making doesn't matter because I already debunked it early on. Photons would have even a small amount of souls. Ginjo stated this. I brought this up earlier in the stream. Just rewind it if you're watching this, key. Ginjo blatantly stated everything has a soul. Photons would still have a little bit of a soul. Therefore, if you're saying that souls alone are not photons, when photons have at least a little bit of a soul, it wouldn't make sense. you'd essentially be playing by the rule that I set, being that photons would end up being slower in physical world than in Soul Society, which I'm saying they're the same speed. I'm downplaying it slightly.
And for you to claim that it's light speed would require proof that the spiritual particle is the same as a photon. You can just claim that without evidence.
I already said the evidence. Ginjo stated literally that and literally everything has even the smallest amount of soul. He says even if souls are small, they have a soul. So photons, even if they are non-physical, they still have a soul. Spiritual stuff is non-physical. So you cannot argue that it would be like, So that would more argue my case. He does say Reishi does have mass, but at the same time, if it's a parallel world, there will be things that are massless as well. So therefore, it wouldn't make sense.
Considering the fact that we are literally told that
if everything was part of the same universe, and they all got split and they're all parallel, which I'm gonna say Hueco Mundo isn't, because only Society World Living was stated to be parallel. If they are parallel and they were part of the same universe, they would have the same properties. One being spiritual, one being physical. That's the only difference.
Made of two different particles. There is also the fact that ratio is shown to have mass, considering.
I'm kind of remembering this video at this point. Yeah, he says they have mass. I already says this doesn't matter.
And the buildings in the Soul Society.
Yeah, they're made up of reishi, which is soul particles, like atoms. Do atoms debunk light existing in the real world? Unless you're saying light just doesn't exist, photons just don't exist, this wouldn't make sense.
And light is light speed specifically because photons are particles without mass.
Yeah, they contain souls. Even if it's minuscule, they contain a soul. So therefore saying that spiritual light is not light speed would be saying photons are not light speed. Which if you're saying that, you're a joke. That's what I'm going to say. You're just saying light doesn't exist. Nothing can move light speed in Bleach. Which we already know isn't the case because Senjumaru shook like whole different STCs, space-time continuums, just by releasing a Bankai, which would minimum mean that shockwave was light speed. Minimum. So light speed does exist. It absolutely does exist.
And if it had mass, it wouldn't be light speed. It's that simple. And the fact that ratio or spiritual particles,
they don't all have mass. Like I already said, they are parallel worlds, right? Both would have light. Both have some sort of mass. Reishi is soul particles that make up souls. They make up the physical structures. They make up Huecomundo's sand. This, that. And we know that Reishi also makes up souls, which contain the Ryoku. If photons contain even a small amount of souls, it means they have Ryoku, which means they have some sort of spiritual-based mass or spiritual-based existence. Therefore, there can be stuff in the Soul Society that have some sort of spiritual-based existence or spiritual-based mass and still be light speed.
Have mass already suggests that it's likely not light speed. So the burden.
And we know spiritual stuff is not physical, or technically doesn't exist physically. Therefore, it would not affect the speed of photons if they have a soul. And it'd be contradicted by feats in the series, literally. It would literally be contradicted by... Thank you. Tiny packets of energy with a small amount of souls inside them, thank you for the extra comment, is the same, can be the same thing as just energy of Reishi, which is Ryoku, by the way. It could just be Ryoku, even. We never explicitly mentioned what light is. It could just be Reishi mimicking the same properties as photons, because it does that anyways with every other type of thing in the living world.
Proof, once again, lies on the side that claims that Bleach is faster than light, because we have many reasons to believe that the light in the Soul Society is slower than natural light. Also, the fact that Ginju, who is stronger than a much stronger version of Yuryu, could barely sidestep a lightning from a high distance.
Okay, give me a second. Just had to pause for a second. Somebody walked by my room. It was pretty loud. But anyways, I already mentioned why this... I'm just going to say it again for those people who don't want to rewind the stream. This, I don't know the source of it. I don't have a bibliography. I don't have a link. I don't have anything. I don't have the official raw Japanese translation or the book directly out the book. I can't confirm whether this is true or not. There's nothing that gives me an option to confirm this is true or not. And the second of all, it's secondary canon, so anything in the manga that contradicts this would be more relevant. So, and I already mentioned stuff that does.
Distance, and not even a lightning can attack that's slower than lightning, or it tells us that for Yuryu to leave a shadow behind would mean that the light in the soul set is actually much slower than light made of photons.
I already explained why that would be the opposite of the case.
The other argument is that Espada number 9 dodged light as well, however the issue is the same because everything in Huedo Mundo is also said to be made of reishi,
which I already explained 5 times in the stream. We'll just keep moving on until something new comes up from now on. If you want to go back and see what's going on, you can go back. I'm probably going to put in timestamps before I start talking about stuff. I'll go back through the stream, make sure that's the case. Everything I'll show in this video, by the way, will be directly out of the manga, so I just keep things simple. Everything I have shown is directly out of the manga, so that'll keep things simple for you guys. The light speed is going to show from Hueco Mundo. Look, the thing is, I take this feat with... I don't remember exactly from the manga, so I'm going to take it with a grain of salt. I don't know if he dodged it before the rocks fell or after the rocks fell. So, I don't know about that one. You guys can... if somebody, like, watching has me on Discord, you can send me the direct manga and show me it. If not, it's fine. We'll just move on. It doesn't change the scale anyways.
Spiritual particles. Also, he never really dodged the light. He simply moved out of the way before the rebel fell down completely.
I fucking... I read it like a book! I actually didn't know he said that. I didn't know he said that. He just kind of says
there was still some rubble that was covering the hole and didn't fully fell down from it. There is also the fact that Ichigo, Ruki, and Sado were getting blitzed by sound waves. They were literally losing to an enemy that was using sound waves as an attack. So you basically have to claim that in the span of like 30 chapters, they got hundreds of thousands of times faster.
You want a good explanation for that? So in 30 chapters, they got... Wait, 30 chapters. That's gone from there to there. Hundreds of thousands of times. Yeah, pretty much the case. Okay, doesn't that apply to most shonen? It's a shonen. People are gonna get stronger just randomly. Like, how does Renji go from being hardly a Spada level to an Aizen, to a Hogyoku Aizen level threat in across one arc? How does Ichigo go from not being able to fight Gin in his Holofied mask to just one-shotting Aizen in like 20... No, that's even less chapters. He goes from... He does a special training. Fair enough. It's Bleach. Like, people get random power-ups that just... It just happens. Like, it becomes a normal thing to go from here to here. Vasto Lord Ichigo is calced anywhere from a 1,000 times to a million times multiplier. People don't even know exactly. I'm not really going to get into the calculations. I personally have it at least 100 times, minimum. Like, 100 times stronger just in, like, a split second because he was like, don't die! And 100 times stronger right then and there. That's like one panel. Like... Dangai Ichigo goes from, like, not even, like, able to withstand first release Ulquiorra to one-shotting Aizen to 10 chapters later. I think maybe not even 10. No, it was like 5 chapters, I think. It was like 5, maybe 10 chapters max. And he's complaining about somebody going from sound speed to relativistic light speed in like 30 chapters. Which didn't even include Ichigo. It was Rukia and Chad, who are way slower than Ichigo at that point in the story. So like, Ichigo probably would have been fast enough there. And we literally see him beat I think it was Grand Fisher they were fighting. I'm not sure. If it was, and Ichigo beat him later on, so that means Ichigo was like easily sound speed. And then a couple chapters later, he's relativistic light. Like, what's after? What would usually authors think? Oh, we have sound speed. Let's think about light next. Like, that's just how it works. Like, if somebody goes from sound speed to relativistic light speed in 30 chapters, it's not that big of a deal. When in the same series, you have somebody go from first release, like one of the strongest people in a clan, to their boss who can solo all of them in a super amped form being one shot by the guy in like 5 chapters. It's a normal thing in Bleach, is what I'm saying. That's not something to be shocked about.
Which is never stated anywhere. Like, you'd have to claim that Rukia, with the body she never trains in, like, this was literally a body she uses to mix in with society, not for fighting.
I do want to remind that these two people did not fight the Menace at all. They wanted to run away with it. The only people that fought Menos was Ichigo. So it wouldn't even apply to them.
Would get hundreds of thousands of times faster in the span of 30 chapters, which, without that ever being mentioned, without that ever being shown, for Zero being light speed.
I do want to remind people, if he's talking about Soul Society arc, then we get into the fact that they trained, and Uryu got to, like, lieutenant level during that training. If you're wondering, lieutenant level is minimum light speed in Soul Society because of the Nakara Nagashion, which I already rebunked because, you know, spiritual things can be light speed. It was stated to be a literal beam of light, and even if it doesn't work the same way as photons, it's fiction. Stuffs are going to be light speed, but not always work the same way light does. Like, you can have a cup made out of light, throw it at light speed, it's still a cup, like, that's moving at light speed. It's not just going to pass through somebody because it's not a physical object or something. It's fiction. Stuff like this are like the case. Not everything's going to be super literal.
To make sense. Because she was able to perceive Zero, she was able to react to it, yet she wasn't able to react to sound waves.
She was reacting to the formation of Zero. When the Zero was being formed at the mouth of the Menos, she called out, "It's a Zero." She couldn't react to the actual movement of it afterwards. That's headcanon.
Very shortly before that, Ichigo struggled with sound waves.
Just want to say, Subtetsu, I don't know if you're still here, but I was kind of got heated in debunking
shortly before that. So yeah, Bleach is an extremely small verse. Any argument for light speed or faster night?
I'm just going to skip this part because it's kind of like, it's copywriting. It's essentially trying to make people believe something or get engaged into something that's not directly the case.
Means nothing. Like attack light speed argument.
He's repeating this, which I already debunked.
Is based purely on interpretation. The story.
I want to re-listen to that part.
Any light speed argument is based purely on interpretation.
And you're telling me that your argument is not based on interpretation. You interpreted that spiritual light cannot be light speed because it doesn't work like photons. That's an interpretation because we're talking about fiction. If it was real life, fair enough. We're talking about fiction. You're interpreting it as not light speed just because it doesn't work the same way, even though there's proof of stuff working that way, even though they do not apply to the same laws of physics as in the real world. So in any case, your argument is interpretation as well. That's contradicting himself.
The story directly debunks the characters being light speed, like
the Rukia stuff I already mentioned. It wasn't directly her being hit by the thing. He puts up the Ginjo thing again. I talked about this twice already. I'll put timestamps in the video. The Gin thing I already mentioned. Like, all three of these things I've debunked already. I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna timestamp them later on. But yeah, by the way, I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing Powerscalling on this channel. Just want to let everybody know. Just keeping that out there. But if like I get a bunch of comments somewhere, or like I like post a video randomly, and you guys decide to comment that you want to see a certain debunk or rebunk or something like that, I'll try to do it just because why not. Usually it'll be Bleach based because I'm not the greatest at other animes like Dragon Ball. I can't debunk or rebunk out of versal scaling or something like that. If people want me to do that, I cannot do that. I'm not fully caught up on like what the meta is for that. I can do like normal multiversal like scalings for that, but I'm just giving an example. I'm usually just good with Bleach and stuff like that.
500 Mach making Ichigo shit his pants, and don't tell me that Ichigo...
He should. I already talked about that, but this makes me laugh how a normal Bankai Ichigo was able to blitz the extension of the Bankai, but a holified version got destroyed by it, and he's still cooling at the same speed.
Doesn't know what 500 times the speed of sound is. He's literally a
I usually don't think Bleach characters would just think about the speed that they are fighting at. And if Ichigo was so shocked, why was he able to react and literally dodge all of them and even like move faster than it, like near Blitz level? Like the Bankai was still extended and he got to Gin and just almost instantly. Like, it wouldn't make sense.
Wish to be a well-educated person and to be pretty much near the top of his class in terms of every single subject. We have Candice's normal attacks being slower than unnatural lightning,
which is not confirmed. Just want to make that clear. That is not confirmed. from what I've said so far. I needed like a proper source or something. And once again, manga does like contradict it. Like this is contradicted by the manga. So we'll continue.
which Ginjo was barely able to sidestep regardless of the fact that it was a very far distance from him. What's taught in the story has way more value than what some fans interpret the story to be, or even what Kubo interprets the story to be, considering the fact that he wrote the manga and he wrote the characters considering Mach 500 to be the fastest Bankai. Like, because
I want to make it clear again because it's been a while since the start of the stream, and this is we've talked about the start of the stream. Being the fastest Bankai is a very vague statement because it would mean Gin is the fastest Shinigami. Because your Bankai is like practically equivalent to the user speed, and if Ichigo is faster than Gin's Bankai, from a literal feat we saw, if Ichigo is faster than Gin's Bankai, then why does Bankai speed matter or Zanpakuto speed matter at all? It should not be talked about if the people themselves are faster than their swords. I'll continue.
Gin literally says that this Bankai is 5 times the speed of 500 times the speed of sound, it would be the fastest Zanpakuto, which so far, including Byakuya's Bankai, Ichigo's Bankai.
Well, if Ichigo's Bankai is faster than Gin's sword, this would not be the case. And thank you for saying, this is actually a pretty good quote for this. What I claim is factual, what you claim is an interpretation. Kinda is the case with this, because like whatever I say, he's just gonna be opinionated against it. Which is why, like, if you go look at his like cosmology video, I have a comment that's one of the most liked on this video saying like it's just not worth it. Like too opinionated and stuff. And like I got a bunch of replies saying like, oh, you're just ducking, and I replied to all of them. And like I made an edit saying I won't reply and I'll just do this instead. So like I'm not gonna respond to any more replies to that comment, but yeah. I don't know, I'll be honest with you, but it doesn't really matter. I'm not gonna comment on that, but yeah.
And even Aizen's Bankai, which makes perfect sense considering the fact that most lightnings travel speeds between 200 Mach and 1000 times Mach. Ginjo was barely able to sidestep that, the same Ginjo who literally has speed scaling.
If Ginjo is barely able to sidestep lightning, which moves between 200 and 1000 Mach, even if lightning is 2 times that, Ginjo, in his base, should be roughly equivalent to complete Fullbring Ichigo, and in his Bankai stronger than Shikai Ichigo in his Fullbring, which Shikai Fullbring Ichigo should be above Dangai. This is stated in the Lost Agent arc. There's a lot of proof for it. He gets more than just the Shinigami powers back. I could make a video on it, but I'm not going to. You can just join the Discord server if somebody wants. I'll just put my Discord in chat real quick. If you really want to join the Discord server that explains it, add me on Discord. That's my Discord. Fullbring Ichigo forms are stronger than Dangai. That's like should be a known thing by now because it's stated. But if Shikai Fullbring Ichigo is stronger than Dangai Ichigo, who is way stronger than like Gin, way stronger than Aizen's first Hogyoku form, which was fighting Urahara, all of this and all that, who are on par with Gin. These are like people that at this point Aizen can blitz Gin, which blitzing somebody who's 500 Mach, let's say, that's at least 6 times their speed. That's 30,000 Mach. And then Ichigo being able to like literally probably blitz Aizen and it's essentially like way faster, is what I'm saying. Like base Ginjo would be way faster.
To Captain level.
It just wouldn't make sense for like him to like he's saying that the speed is stale. Like nobody upscales at all. Is what he's saying. Like everybody stays the same speed. Oh, it's this speed. So if Gin is 500 Mach, and then base Ginjo in the Lost Agent arc, which is way upscaled, is like fighting an Ichigo that or this or that with the Candice speed and the Mach speed of lightning, it would just intertwine. No, because one, you're using secondary canon. Two, these people are way faster by literal statement. So like you can't just equate them using that. Like if anything, the Comfy Old World novels, or whichever novels he's using, I don't know if he's using Safi, I'm guessing Comfy Old World because there's Candace in it. If he's using that novel, that statement would contradict what's happening in the manga. Fully contradict it.
Characters. And there is also the data book saying that Byakuya and Bankai Ichigo had lightning-like speed. Even if you want to claim that it's a hyperbole is actually an exaggeration. That's what hyperboles are. They are exaggerations by definition.
It wouldn't be an exaggeration, it would be a lowball. Because they literally, like, these two can probably blitz or outspeed. They literally can blitz lieutenants. We saw Ichigo blitz 2.5. It wasn't a full blitz on the third one. But he practically blitzed 2 lieutenants total in one go. Or at least, let's say even he blitzed 1. That one lieutenant was the lieutenant of the Stealth Force, who is faster than Rangiku, because he is the lieutenant of the Stealth Force, and Rangiku dodged the light. So, like, it's probably a low ball, realistically.
So, if lightning speed is an exaggeration, then they would definitely be even slower than lightning. Which is kind of actually backed up in the Bleach novel, because it says that even if something is slower than a natural lightning, it can still somewhat pass as lightning speed. Even though complete
I've
joke,
debunked that
like,
multiple
maybe
times
you
already.
can argue with the 1000-tier Blood War characters, the top tiers may reach that level of speed, but anything below
Wait, what did you say?
characters, the top tiers may joke, like, maybe you can argue with the 1000-tier Blood War characters, the top tiers may reach that level of speed.
Oh, that's a spoiler. That's a spoiler. I'm sorry to anybody who is not, like, that's a spoiler. Damn it. I didn't know you put a spoiler in this video. I don't know if anybody here got spoiled. I hope I put that in spoilers down here. Give me a second. There's a separate spoilers chat. Yeah, put in spoiler. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Spoilers were expected. I should probably put that in the title. Give me a second. Spoilers were expected. I didn't put it in the title. That's my fault. My fault. I don't know if people are gonna be pissed at that. Edit. Just put spoiler in the title. Just spoilers. Do that. Okay, there we go. That should be fine now. Okay. I don't know what Hikone has anything to do with this. Like, she's... Like, I'm not... Actually, since we're talking about spoilers, yeah, she's kind of like a breed of everything. Like, she's everything combined, so she should be able to do that. It doesn't really change anything. Sure, we'll go with it. Let's finish off this video, because there's less than a minute left.
Characters are even superlativistic. Like, Bleach is literally probably the slowest shonen out there, which is obviously...
That is a crazy take. That is a crazy take. I totally forgot you said that. That is a crazy take.
Obviously not something that the Bleach fanboys would like, considering the fact that Bleach is praised as some sort of a powerhouse of a verse, like...
Well, I'm not going to say it's a powerhouse. I'm just going to say you said a lot of things that are very easily debunkable.
Some sort of a next level Powerscalling shonen.
Well, that would go to, like, Dragon Ball. Fairy Tail falls under the same. Let me think for a second. Who else would be pretty... I guess Anti-Spiral, but I don't know if that falls under Mecha. That might fall under Mecha, not Shonen. I don't know. But yeah, there's a few powerhouses. Bleach is definitely not a low-tier verse, by no means. Like, especially when you actually decide to scale it.
When in reality it's actually, like, very mediocre. Now, if you like this video, please leave a like, because it actually does help a lot. And also make sure to subscribe.
I do not know that, but that's diabolical if you think Naruto beats Goku. Like, generally. Oh yeah, I saw that one video he did. He's like, the sun landed in the water, so it's like, that's so... Does he forget that that's like a very comedic relief Dr. Slump? You know, the same Dr. Slump that has characters that transcend the... Like, the girl, I forgot her name now because my brain's going crazy. If if the girl in the Dragon Ball like manga can cut herself out the manga infinitely over, it kind of like she kind of transcends the manga infinitely in that case. Like I'm not gonna put that any high tier, but I'm just saying you're using Doctor Slump. That is the Looney Tunes of anime. That is like Toon Force Gear 5 Luffy on AIDS. Wait, no, that's enough. On steroids. I said enough. AIDS would be enough. Okay, I think this should be it. Oh, this is what I did for the drip scale. Oh, that'll work. Personally, I know a lot of people that scale Naruto to Uni, and even if Naruto did scale to Uni, it still wouldn't be able to beat Goku. Because, let's go into the basic stuff. If the otherworld at base minimum transcends dimension, it would be 4D slash 5D. This isn't supposed to be a. I'm getting into the Dragon Ball fandom, but this is going to be like 1 minute. The normal living world is said to be an infinite universe multiple times in manga and in data book, therefore it's infinite. It's 3D infinite, that's high universal. That already puts it above universal if he just scales up into the universal, but it's high universal. The other world would be upscaled because it's a higher dimension, therefore being 4D in existence, and we know that heaven alone is infinite. The diagram shown is not accurate, it's just meant to like show representation, but heaven itself is like the entire like realm of heaven, not just a planet. The entire realm of heaven is infinite, just like the living universe. Therefore, that's two infinite constructs. That's two infinite. That's two 3D high universal still. But then you have time. You factor in time, and time only works if there's no higher thing because of what's it called? Special theory? No, I'm going crazy. Oh, what's it called? Special relativity. There we go. Remember, special relativity. Therefore, it wouldn't apply, but it'd still be a four-dimensional construct as a whole because the other one's a higher dimension. Therefore, it would scale universal plus. If you want to edge it, multi-universal, low multiversal, but universal plus minimum. Now, we have the whole of the universes. All the universes together would be low multiversal if you destroyed all of them. Then we have the Xeno realm, which transcends them because it holds them, and anything that holds a high dimensional construct would be a high dimensional construct, being 5-dimensional. So the Xeno realm is 5D, therefore Dragon Ball as a whole is at least 5-dimensional. Goku, on the other, being able to shake the other world, 4D, upscale it by Kaioken times 20, that's low multiversal. It's already low multiversal. You can't debunk Goku to Galaxy if he's shaking infinite space. The Infinite Void feat doesn't matter because that's actually an anti-feat, but well, it's not an anti-feat. I'm lying there. It's just not a proper feat. It says Aeon, not infinite, which stands for endless, which if something that's endless, unless it's something that harbors something that's infinite or a universe, it wouldn't be infinite. I'm not even going to reply to that because I don't know if that's true. But we're gonna head into cosmology and power. I've been talking about Dragon Ball now and I gained 2 viewers because of it. That doesn't make any sense to me. Anyways, this one's more popular. A week ago, maybe being more popular makes it more valid. But I doubt that. I doubt that. Let's get into this.
How strong is Bleach really? Without any wank, without any downplay. In this video we will be discussing exactly that. First of all, the Soul King separated the world of the living and the Soul Society, which were originally one. This would be a planetary feat considering one.
This would be a planetary feat, he
First
says.
of all, the Soul King separated the world of the living and the...
Okay, let's read this. In order to make the separation of the three realms reality, they require the power of the man who transcends everything. It is said that the Shibai clan ancestor attempted to persuade him, but in that opening, the Tsushiro clan ancestor sealed the rail into a crystal. I did not review what happened to them firsthand, but everything that followed is the history of the Society itself. The man who would later be called the Soul King, using his almighty power as the linchpin, the five serrated the foundation of the New World, Soul Society, World of Living, and Hueco Mundo. Real quick. I just want to, real quick, just find this right now. Yeah, a second, because I actually just want to straight up find a valid source, so I don't just say something and it's slightly invalid, and then somebody's like, oh. I'm gonna retranslate this, but I'm gonna pop that in there, just in case. Because I like retranslating things just to make sure they're the case. Just in case I want to get a little extra information, just so I don't get something completely wrong here. Hopefully people stick around for just a couple minutes, just for me to make sure everything is the case. Oh! What is this? We have that syndromorphy as well. Okay. Let's continue with this. First of all, I'm gonna retranslate this real quick. Just give me a second. I'm gonna retranslate this just really quickly, just to make sure everything is fine and dandy. Because, you know, might as well just make sure that this is true and not some kind of lie. So I'm gonna get rid of it for now since I already, like, you know, have the source. I'm gonna quickly retranslate it. Just make sure that this is the case. Because if I have a wrong source, then what's the point? Like, I'm not trying to lie to everybody here. I'm trying to fact check myself at this point, just to make sure. Okay, got the screenshot of that. Now I just have to get the kanji for it, and then I am gonna show everything on stream. Okay. Oh wait, I need to send that to myself. I'm actually going to put the kanji in the chat, so if anybody else wants to go on DeepL and just fact check me, even if I'm going to do it on stream, you can do that. Just in case, because I don't know if this is true, but if it is, well, you know, might as well, you know. Just fact check this. If anybody else wants to, that's the kanji. I'm going to do it on stream. We have DeepL here. Put it to English because I'm in England. Parallel worlds. Okay, now if I can get the direct kanji for this, what was the worlds part? It's showing up. Okay, it's fine. It's showing up. Okay. Punctured gate. The black winged butterfly. The corporal world and this world are parallel worlds that exist separately and independently from each other. Here we go. Separately and independently from each other. I'm not worried about the worlds, because worlds can be translated into universe, because Sekai can be translated into universal world. I'm worried... I thought somebody walked in this room. Anyways. The corporal world and this world, parallel worlds that exist separatedly and independently of each other. What do both of these places have? That's what I'm going for. Separated independently of each other. What do both of these places have? If people can confirm it says separately and independently of each other, that'll help me a lot. Some of this stuff will be from non-canon sources. However, it will support my point because I will show canon sources to further support the fact that these non-canon sources are also like just additional stuff. They're not my main argument. I will be showing multiple sources here. Let me get all of this. Here we go. This as well. I have about 7 screenshots here directly from the manga. Some of them from the anime that are slightly non-canon. Okay, everybody here, let's quickly debunk this case. Right here. Let's go back slightly.
This video will be discussing exactly that. First of all, the Soul King separated the world of the living and the Soul Society, which were originally one. This would be a planetary feat, considering the fact that they are planets. But
The issue is, when he says they separated it, he's referring to the world of the living, the Soul Society, and Hueco Mundo. If they are, like I stated, the corporal world and this world, the power worlds that exist separately and independently of each other, the gate is used to track between the two worlds, and the gate requires a black-winged insect called the Hell Butterfly, which can only be carried by Shinigamis. This punctured gate is the Senkaimon, obviously. This talks about the Senkaimon. If the corporal world and this world are parallel worlds that exist separately and independently of each other, it would mean that they are separated completely and are not part of the same universe. Because I'm translating this world to universe. Since he wants to translate Naruto to universe, I'll translate it to universe. I feel like that's fair, right? I actually kind of want to, real quick, reverse translate this. Actually, can I just do Sekai? Sekai. No, I have to do it on this side. This is such a pain in my butt. Universe. If I did universe, go here, copy. Just, what does this say? In Latin. Uchu. Okay. Just making sure. Okay, let's go through this. Because I need to center this again. Because this is a pain in the butt. Anyways, I'm getting Discord pings. I knew this was going to be like a funny moment when I get a bunch of Discord pings and I have to deal with it. Anyways, for everybody still here, which actually seems like a few people, he stated that the Soul King splitting the three realms is a planetary feat, when it is directly stated that the combination of the three worlds would cause it to bring back the old universe. The Soul King separated the universe, not just 3 planets. A universe doesn't turn into 3 planets just like that. They will have the world of the living has constellations and stuff like that. They have to go through the Dangai to get to the Soul Society, which the Dangai completely separates the Soul Society and the world of the living. Do you know what the Dangai is? An STC, a space-time continuum. I'll get into the proof of that in a moment. But first of all, here are 3 filler images. Fair enough. I know that somebody who's watching this probably says that these are filler. I know. Fun fact, there's canon material showing stars. Actually, there's multiple mangas. There's manga where they talk about constellation, manga where they talk about real-life stuff in, like, Coldplay, the band. They talk about Coldplay, the band. It is just our normal universe. That is where Earth is located. Earth itself is not the realm. The realm is the entire universe. Earth is just a part of it. Thank you, Kenos, for the obvious. But thank you, like, why did I say it like that? I sound like a dickhead. I meant, like, obvious, like, as in, like, thank you for, like, obviously, like, helping. I'm a douche at this point. Like, I don't know words. Anyways, 2 star images. You know, kind of made the stars out. She was beautiful. Still shows stars. There's 2 stars images right there. There's stars out. They state the stars out. It's not just an illustration. The characters state that they are out. If you have to travel through the Dangai, which is an STC or a space-time continuum because it's stated to be a space-time, and or it's also been stated to be a hyperspace, which falls under the degree of being a 4-dimensional space and not a way of transportation because it is a space-time continuum, this would mean that this image of stars here, and any sort of stars found in the world of living where they talk about constellations, and where there are these filler stuff, but they're secondary canon or third canon, I forgot which one it is. But the fact that there's stars here, and the fact that they talk about constellations in the world of the living, implies that there are 2 separate entire universes. They are not planets. Therefore, the Soul King separating it would be a low multiversal feat. Minimum. I'm just going to say minimum because, you know, there's more to this, such as Gremmy's galaxy feat, where he made multiple galaxies, actually entire clusters, as you can tell to some degree. I don't know if that's clusters, but I'm gonna say that they are larger galaxies, smaller galaxies, noticeable galaxies. Like, that's the size of a galaxy, and you can see everything he created. This is a multi-galaxy feat. Like, it falls under the same realm, on the same scope. You can see here that the Society and World of Living work on separate time axes, because they're separated by a space-time continuum. It all points to Bleach, to this feat being low multiversal and not planetary.
What about Yhwach threatening to destroy the three worlds? Well, this is actually way more complicated. It's been consistently stated.
It's been stated that he can erase. It's literally been stated that he can erase the Garganta if he wanted to. Like, wait, let me find it. It's somewhere here. Give me a second. I had it in my previous video, the Ichigo one I did. It literally just Yukio and Ganyu talking, and it's like, if we lose, the Garganta's gone as well. Which, the Garganta harbors everything, including those stars. So even if you, like, said that the Soul King thing was planetary, Yuha threatened the Garganta, which holds everything, which holds this universe, would be minimum 4D. You cannot argue it to be planetary. That is not something that is literally possible because of the canon material.
That Yhwach was simply going to destroy the balance of the worlds and make the worlds collide into each other by themselves, meaning
he was going to recreate the old universe by fusing the three realms together, by destroying the Garganta and the boundaries in between. It was stated that he was going to... He's bringing... Okay, where is it? Complete souls... What's the part? This is the part where Fake Aizen talks about the whole stuff like that. But he was going to get rid of the boundaries between the Soul Society and the World Living and Hueco Mundo. That includes the Dangai, and that includes parts of the Garganta. Destroying parts of something that is infinite and that harbors universes, entire space-time continuums, would be a 4D feat minimum. And I'm not saying that it's like some sort of like high complex multiversal. I'm just saying it has to be Universal Plus. It is literally Universal Plus, and you cannot say anything about it. Like, there is no debunk to that. Stars, constellations, this, that. The Garganta harbors our normal universe, which is a space-time continuum. And if other things work on a different space-time axis, and the Garganta itself has been stated to work on a separate time axis, it would mean that our universe is, which is surrounded by the Garganta, 4D. It makes sense.
that he wasn't going to
I
directly
mean,
destroy
it makes no sense. What I said makes sense. Like, it being universal, this makes no sense.
the worlds. It's the argument that after absorbing the Soul King, he was going to destroy them directly without the need of destroying the balance. But this is actually false, because the novel directly confirms that if Ichigo didn't beat Yhwach, he would have destroyed the balance of the world and made the worlds crumble together. So that final...
Oh, would you look at that? Would you look at that? He just disproved himself. There's no point of doing this video. I finally can leave. Would you look at that? Hey guys, I'm gonna zoom in on that actually. I'm gonna extra zoom in on that. Yeah. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yhwach, the boundaries between the three worlds would have disappeared, and we would have returned to the universe in which there would be no cycle of Kompaku, wouldn't be? We would have returned to a universe in which there would be no cycle of Kompaku, when they are in opposite STCs. Such action would reduce the Soul Society's history to naught.
balance of the world.
The boundaries between the three worlds, which, by the way, the boundaries are the Dangai and Garganta, which are both like 4D. Like, Dangai more likely 3D with the time axis because it's encompassed by the Garganta, so it doesn't apply to special relativity. Thank you to my one friend on Instagram for explaining to me how special relativity works. It helped me a lot. But it can be still argued a hyperspace, but I'm not going to go into that. But the Garganta is 100% 4D. So that would scale him to Universal Plus, and guess what returns it? It would have returned to the universe in which there would be no cycle of Kompaku. Can I leave? I'm joking. I'm gonna wait. Continue. I'm joking. I want to leave. Let's do this. That's not zoomed out enough. I'm literally gonna give somebody a left click to see how much I'm moving this around. Ignore the fact you randomly see Homelander. Hey, there's my comment. Hey, there's my comment. If we have time to read over that later, we can. I don't think he read his own infos because that literally like contradicts it.
Crumble together. So that final attack against Ichigo was...
I hate the I hate the fact that he's doing these because it's actually kind of funny when like he's false, proves it true, and he's like, "This is true," when he just proved himself false. It's actually funny, but we're gonna
Really
continue.
Yhwach on his way to destroy the worlds by himself directly. It was actually him trying to cause the chain reaction, which makes sense. We quite literally see that
He himself said that he was going to destroy the boundaries between the Soul Society and World of the Living later on, when he realized that there was too much of a threat from the fact that Ichigo's power was evolving. I'm not going to get into too much spoilers, but to put it simple, like, Ichigo's hacks, we already know it's literally a perfect counter to Almighty. Therefore, Yhwach would not want to risk it, so he himself would destroy the boundaries between the worlds, even though he wanted to do it normally to cause less death and stuff, because he doesn't like conflict, in quotation marks. Yeah.
his energy covered the country, he was probably going to wipe out all the people there to destroy the balance. It's a better interpretation given what the novel states.
It's a better interpretation, yes. Not a better scale, because you just said he's destroying planets.
So yeah, Yhwach's feat is not planetary. At best you can say that he's
He doesn't even say planetary. Oh, oh, I felt like this weird feeling in my throat. I'm drinking water straight away. I don't know. This is just
planetary
laughable.
because he scales to the Soul King possibly, but even that's if
Yeah, scale into the soul thing brings you to universal plus minimum. You're welcome for your like 170th best Bleach scaler here telling you this. There's like so many better than me. Yeah, I can do it. Like Clyde, like, he's pretty good. Like I'd say, realistically, I'd say DBZ Imran, Mr. Tomo can probably scale Bleach way better because they know how it works to the T. Like I've seen a skill from DBZ Imran, somebody who knows Bleach to the T, get him like say he's universal. Like that man knows Bleach like the back of his hand at this point because of how many videos he made of it. Mr. Tomo, he'd probably put it around the same. I don't know. I'm just saying, there's a lot of better Bleach scalers out there than me. We have my friend on Instagram who knows special relativity better than me. We have a bunch of people online who know Bleach better. Like, I know people in Discord servers better than me. I'm able to debunk this just by looking at it. I brought up like 7 images that's straight up out of the manga instead of even talking about the novels, which aren't even written by Kubo directly. It's funny.
The fact that
It's
this version of the
funny.
Soul King is much weaker than the one that
Yeah, much weaker, yet he can hold up 3 universes. Maybe more. I actually don't know if he holds up to Hell as well. If he holds up Hell, Hell can be argued low multiversal on its own.
split the worlds.
I'm actually going to say right here, all you Bleach scalers out there that actually just don't straight up say no Bleach scale is impossible, even if you scale it to planetary, but say that higher, oh, I actually played it. Even if you say Bleach is planetary, but accept the fact that there are some people that can scale it higher and use valid, like, information for it, if you just personally don't believe that it's universal, but you accept the fact that those scales exist, respect to you. You're not like the guy over here saying, like, oh, it's planetary, and then showing a universal statement. I'm also being like this because this man was rude to me, so like I'm going out there. And shout out to Ratman as well as people in the chat saying. I don't know why I'm shouting him out. I have 800 subscribers. This isn't going to do anything to his career, but
been sealed for millions of years. So one could argue that this version of the Soul King that Yhwach absorbed isn't even as strong as he was in his prime when he performed that massive feat.
Yeah, he performed the feat of splitting the 3 realms and like forming them in his prime. He was still able to hold them up when he was in his dormant state. That just shows how much power he had. That shows that he probably scaled higher, even. If you were smart, you'd know that. I'm joking. He's probably smart enough, but he just doesn't know about Bleach. I saw like some skills of him that were like, he's actually can be done. Like, he's alright. You know, very, very opinionated, but he has some logic behind his scaling, so I'm not gonna say that. But we'll continue. I'm not gonna like, what's it called? Strawman? Is it Strawman? I'm not gonna Strawman. My fault. No, not gonna fallacy like hunt here with it. You know.
It's a major debate whether the Soul Society and the World of the Living are universes or whether they're in reference to planets, and it's
they are planets within universes. That is very obvious. There are stars everywhere. You even in this image, which probably isn't from. I don't know if this is from Bleach, because all of these images are from Bleach. I don't know if this one's from Bleach, but there's stars in there. Fun fact. If it is from Bleach, there's stars in there, and there's stars in there anyways in the manga.
Very clear within the series that it's actually in reference to planets. Memories of Nobody.
It's in reference to the planets themselves, but whenever they talk about the realms as a whole, it's kind of obvious, such as Central Maru Shaken 3, because like they are that far apart, it just makes sense to talking about the universes. I swear, I remember him saying something very, like, very, very. Oh, we're gonna get to that part. I can't wait to talk about. I can't wait to get to a certain part of this video now that I think about it. There's a certain part of this video. There's a certain part of this video I can't wait to get to because it proves Universal Bleach just because of the way he said it.
Which is canon. The Soul
Oh, copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under section 107. I'm copy pasting that. I need that. Just in case. If he put that in, there's probably something to do with it. I'm taking it. Tag in channel buddies. I'm not gonna try to show any of that. He has a whole copyright disclaimer, so I'm gonna pop that into this in a moment. Actually, I'm gonna pop that in now, just real quick. I'm gonna pop this disclaimer into my description, just because I have an odd feeling like I might get copyright striked just for like having his footage up. Just an odd feeling. Might just be me, might not be me. I don't know. Don't quote me. Okay. Into my description. Oh, that's my voice. I don't want to hear that. I'm joking. The galaxy line mirror is obviously which is canon. If actually scales is if Mr. Tomo Ratman scale, that would be. I'd love to see something from them. Like we have DBZ Imran's How Strong Is Ichigo at the end of Bleach power scaling. Like his one is pretty good. Like he's very very like he is very very mid-pool. You don't see as much mid-pool as you see from DBZ Imran. He goes through the basics of the basics and just uses it smartly. It's not a very much debunkable video, especially when you look at all the material. Like if Mr. Tomo did it, holy hell. Of course, we know Clyde's the most popular one, but there's some stuff that Clyde does that's like very controversial, which he's still a very good scaler, like and stuff. Like I'd honestly love to see a Surfbone Bleach scale. I feel like he would scale it on the lower end, personally, just because he's a very big context guy. He loves context like a madman. Like that man's great. Great. Um, we already know what drip scales Bleach to. We already had that entire discussion. He's having like family over, friend meetups, stuff like that. He can't scale right now. You know, he'll never see this video. You know what, Drip? You're a worse scaler than me. I'm joking. Everybody knows how to scale. I just know how to scale, but I'm joking. Oh, we'll continue this. Nothing I said there should be taken out of context. Nobody clip any of that. Please, nobody clip any of that. Except for the part where I like praised everybody. You could clip not the part
of the link are directly seen being planets, and even Toshiro states that the pathway was created that connected the two planets.
Toshiro used the words Hoshi, which translates to planet or star. Yeah, he's talking about the Valley of Screams. There's no way a tunnel connected two stars can be created naturally. So are you saying the Soul Society and are you saying Earth's a star? Or are you saying the Valley of Screams are stars? Because it's one of those two. And one of them seems much more likely than the other. I actually forgot the context of this image, so don't call me that. But one of them seems much more likely of the other.
Furthermore,
and to be fair, I said he was going to use Memories of Nobody, which he said it's not. He said in his speed scale that this is not canon, and now he's saying it is. So, you know, it's. I know he said specifically the novels, but Kubo did direct people to the Confia own, not Confia own, Memories of Nobody novels and movie. Like he said that. He said movies and novel when he talked about it. So it can be argued canon.
Directly states in that movie that the Soul Society and the World of the Living are in the same universe, meaning that they are not.
I already proved why that is not the case. You know? They're not part of the same universe because they got separated. They're not part of the same universe because they're separated by a Dangai, which is a STC. They're not part of the same universe because they're surrounded by the Garganta everywhere else, which is infinite. Like, they literally are not connected in any way. They have to travel through a whole STC, space-time continuum, to those who don't know, to get to each other. Like, it makes no sense.
Separate universes. They are simply different sections of the universe, but that's it. Even one of the Bleach novels implies that they are planets connected through a pipeline.
That's hyper literal. Kyogoku. If the world of the living society are likened to be planets and the pipeline that connects them with the Dangai, the void of space that surrounds those with the Garganta. There's my point. If the world living in society are likened to be planets, and the pipeline that connects them is Dangai, that's the only way to get from one to another. That's the pipeline. A pipeline doesn't have to be a literal just tunnel. It's just what connects the two, so he calls them a pipeline. Doesn't have to be taken hyper literally. If it's talking about the world living in society are likened to be planets, but there's stars around, then we know that the pipeline directly connects the planets. Specifically, you can't really go anywhere else. It's just that small pocket. That small pocket is just for the planets. That pipeline, but the Dangai itself is different. The Dangai is way bigger than just that. We saw that the Dangai is way bigger. The void of space that surrounds us is called the Garganta, which means it's outside of the universe where we see stars. We saw stars, so it has to be outside of that. So the Garganta surrounds more than just planets. This could either be labeled as a mistranslation, or it's either being taken too hyper literally on his end, because there's literal proof of stars, and if that's surrounded by the Garganta, it's not the Garganta itself. Therefore, they're talking about more than just planets. If they're talking about planets, they're just talking about the fact that the Dangai is the only way to get from one planet to the other. Nothing else should be taken hyper literally.
Pipeline. More we have the direct map of the Soul Society, which shows that the entire thing is simply land and the cities on it. And even the data simply land.
Yeah, that's the planet. Yeah, the Rukogan and the Serete where like people live, where the Serete is. It's the soul. There's two different meanings of Soul Society. We're talking about the universe, and then we're talking about the planet. The planet of the Soul Society is where the Soul Reapers live, where the Serete is, which is located inside the universe where we see the stars, and that's all surrounded by the Dangai. It's very simple to understand. I hope people here get it, but like that's literally shown and explained literally in his own like video.
But that's
like
it. Even one of the Bleach novels implies
like it says the Garganta surrounds those.
that they
It's
are
blatantly
planets in
stated.
the context that the society is a planet. And of course there is the manga where Ikaku directly states that the entire society is experiencing a night, which once again
That doesn't prove that it's not a universe if it's not talking about the entire universe. This hurts. The Soul Society is the planet, but the Soul Society is also the universe which the planet is in. He thinks society is a region, a country, so to speak. Even if you thought that, he would still be referred to as if it's a planet, which is not the case. There can be night, there can be day, there can be clouds, there can be atmosphere on a planet. In a universe, there is still that, but only on specific areas, not the entire thing. I'm saying, well, what I've been saying, what everybody knows I've been saying, is that he's specifically saying that the Society is just a planet. He's not taking everything into account.
would only make sense in the context of this referring to a planet. It's also the data book directly stating that the world of the living is Earth, so there is that as well.
I want to
Also
read
the
all
data
that
book directly
real quick.
stating
Ooh, time to translate. I want to see what this says, because time to see if this is accurate or not. Because why not? We might as well fact check. There's nothing wrong with it. Save that image. Okay, there we go. Downloads, lens, get with the kanji from this scene or page, if it lets me. Yep, got all the kanji. I'll post it again in the Discord so people can translate it themselves if they want to, because I just see that as being an extra validification. Anyways, that's all the kanji from the scene. I'm gonna pop in the DeepL. That. Do this. There we go. Let's see what he says about Dangai. Let's see what it says here.
who directly states the context of this referring to a planet. It's also the data book directly stating the world of the...
Okay, his one says top. The moment everything ends, Ichigo Kurosaki vs Sosuke. The middle, the ultimate move given to his father, the victory cost of the loss of his powers. Ichigo Ichigo Ishin in the in-between world in order to learn the supreme move, which is the ultimate Getsuga Tensho. In this space, denser than the external world, which they have a lot of time ahead. Meanwhile, Aizen dodged Gin's treacherous attack, became the owner of the Hogyoku, and evolves as a transcendent being, as much of a holo as a Shinigami. That's where Ichigo arrives with his final move. Picture Aizen appearance with the Hogyoku when the Hogyoku rejected him as the master after the Mugetsu thrown by Ichigo. Wait. That's not the picture. That's not the picture. Unless it's referring to something else. Bottom, explain what is the Dangai. The Koryu and the Kototsu said that times is 200 times more concentrated in the Dangai than in the external world. It's in between what? 2,000 times. Not 200 times. It's 200, not 2,000. I knew that was wrong. More concentrated in Dangai than in the external world. It's the in-between Earth and Soul Society, and it's a place of exile. Okay, let's go back and let's listen to him say this.
This referring to a planet. It's also the data book directly stating the world of the living is Earth, so there is that as well.
Yeah, that's what I said. The world of the living is Earth, but the world of the living is also the universe which Earth is located in. We know this because they talk about constellation, they show stars, they show the moon, they show the sun. There's the sun. Like, it's not just Earth. Okay, we have his one. He does the French translation into English instead of going from French to Japanese just to make sure the kanji is correct, but we'll take this anyways. An isolated space connecting the real world and Soul Society, the space between two worlds, being in the space between Earth and Soul Society. It is a place where space and time are disconnected, or discontinued. Yet time still flows, and there's still space, therefore it's a separate space-time continuum. He's proven my point. Formerly, while serving as the passage between the two worlds, it also serves as a land of exile. In addition, with multiple layers of valorant temporal turrets superimposing on it, time is 2,000 times more concentrated than it is outside. The sky above, the Soul Society and the disconnected space connects the present world and the corporal world, new realm space in between the present world and disconnected space, where space and time has been severed. Same as disconnected. Both of these translations prove my point that the Dangai is a separate STC, space-time continuum. Space and time are discontinuous. Yet in the data book, it's stated that the Kyototsu governs space and time. The Kyototsu is only found in Dangai, nowhere else. Therefore, it governs space and time within Dangai. Therefore, meaning the Dangai has space and time, but it's discontinued. Meaning the Soul Society and the world of the living are separate space-time continuums, and the Dangai itself is a space-time continuum. This proves my point.
Cosmology of the Earth is as follows. There is the world of the living, Earth, and far away within the universe there is the planet, the Soul Society, which is connected to Earth by a pipe, and of course between the two is Yhwach.
Yet he's not talking about the fact of the space-time continuum. That's his interpretation. That is not a valid scale. That is his interpretation of how it goes because he does not know enough information to be able to debunk himself. He didn't even look at a counter-argument on his own self. He didn't properly research this. That's how I can tell because there's literally nothing here that shows of somebody knowing Bleach for more than a month. Like, he doesn't talk about the space-time he mentioned. It's discontinued from space and time, yet it has space, yet it has denser time, therefore it's a separate space-time continuum. And if it's a separate space-time continuum dividing the Soul Society and World of the Living, those two would be separate space-time continuums as well. It doesn't make any sense.
Commando. Now, there is the anime exclusive feat of Senjumaru shaking the quote.
This is the part! Yes! I really hope this is the part where I actually get to, like, just show this, because this is just funny to me. Like, you guys have listened to everything I said. Dangai is a separate space-time continuum. It separates the Soul Society and World of the Living. It can be argued to be a hyperspace. So by most cases, it would end up being 4D. This is the part, I'm gonna like this part.
Quote 3 worlds, which a lot of people interpret as 3 universes, but since we concluded that everything is part of...
We concluded that they were universes, not that they were worlds. Sorry.
The same universe, there is no such thing. And since we concluded that the realms are in reference to planets, that means that she only shook 3 specific planets. To say that she shook anything beyond that is headcanon. Or since all three realms or planets are connected through gateways, that means that her energy could have very easily simply traveled through those gateways as a...
Okay, that's the part. Okay, everybody in the stream right now. Her shockwave could have traveled through the gateways to get to the planets. But for some reason, everything around the planets, the stars, all of that, they don't get shaken. How does Huecomundo get shaken if there's no gateway to Huecomundo? Dangai is not a gateway to Huecomundo. You have to use the Garganta. The Garganta is infinite. The Garganta is infinite. Therefore, she has to shake infinite space to get to Huecomundo, if that's his point. She has to shake, and somehow you can't shake the star right next to the planet. No, but she can shake infinite space to get to Huecomundo. That makes no sense. To shake the Dangai, you have to open the Senkaimon. How is her shockwave going to open the Senkaimon? She needs a Hell Butterfly to open it for her to be able to make the shockwave go through. She's not going to target it with that. She just says she can shake the free realms just by releasing Dangai. She doesn't need that. She could just shake the entire universe at that point. That's minimum universal. If we count the infinite high universal, if we count the fact that these things are separate and they're separate space-time continuums that are just surrounded by the Garganta, that is low multiversal defeat. There is literally no way to debunk this, especially when if you have watched my latest video, I put literal essays for how this cannot be debunked to be less than a multiversal feat. I'm gonna just throw a couple of these in there because like there's just this one alone. This one alone right here, like this is the part I was waiting for in this video. This is one of the only things that excited me about making this live stream. Like literally it's not figurative because the kanji means everything in existence. Therefore, it would be talking about the Dangai, the Garganta, the world of the living, the Soul Society, Huecomundo, probably Hell, probably something else. These people are the literal royal gods of the guy holding up the entire cosmology as we know it. So, why would they not be able to shake... they are somehow able to shake an entire space-time continuum, but they can't shake they can't shake more than two separate planets on totally opposite sides of what he calls the universe, but somehow they can shake an entire space-time continuum in between. It literally makes no sense. How are they going to shake how is she going to shake Huecomundo? She has she has to shake the Garganta. How it just... This, I would have rewatched this one more time and like see if I missed anything from what he says, because this is the part of the video that I have been waiting for. This is literally the most debunkable thing I have seen in the history of Bleach.
She concluded that the realms are in reference to planets. That means that she only shook 3 specific planets.
She only shook 3 specific planets that are located in his mind on 3 separate parts of the universe, one that's inaccessible through the Dangai, but somehow she didn't shake anything except for that planet. She didn't shake any rocks on the way. She didn't shake anything. She just shook Huecomundo somehow. Just somehow she shook it. Like, there's no Dangai. If he says the Garganta, there's stars in the way. We see that there's stars in the way. There's galaxies in the way. We see that there's galaxies in the way. So, is she universal? Is she multiplanetary just because of bullshit? Like, genuinely, how is that headcanon? It's pure logic. Headcanon is saying that she somehow shook a planet halfway across what he calls the universe. This isn't my scale. What he calls the universe, but somehow can't shake a moon right next to the planet or something. She can't shake a meteorite on the way, but she can somehow shake a planet literally billions of light years away according to his scale. Is it just me who feels like this is somehow just like not making sense? I can't be the only one who thinks that like this part of the video he's just gone completely bazonki nonk. Like I don't even know what I just said, but that's what my brain says when it
say that she shook anything beyond that is headcanon. Or since all 3 realms or planets are connected through gateways, that means that her energy could have very easily simply traveled.
That's the only thing I hear when I hear this sentence. It doesn't make sense. It's like the logic of this is like putting him up against somebody who has read Bleach for the first time. He would be the coughing baby. It makes zero sense.
Through those gateways as opposed to traveling through...
Oh, by the way, I just wanted you to remember, he has the Garganta in this statement. The thing, the thing that surrounds everything, surrounds those stars, surrounds all of that. Yeah, you have to shake that, the thing that surrounds everything. So it would still scale minimum, low galaxy. If you were to extreme lowball it to the lowest proportion possible, multisolar to low galaxy, it would still scale to Goku by his standards. I think I just crashed out.
That means that her
We're gonna continue. We're only a third of the way through the second video. We're gonna continue.
energy could have very easily simply traveled through those gateways as opposed to traveling through all of space. It would make no sense for her to hype up shaking 3 planets if she could actually shake the entire universe or something.
She wasn't hyping up shaking 3 planets. It was blatantly stated that she could shake the 3 universes. You said that yourself. You're just contradicting yourself at this point. If you go... Well, actually, I can't... Wait.
Part of the same commando. Now, there is the anime exclusive feat of Senjumaru shaking the quote-unquote 3 worlds, which a lot of people interpret as 3 universes, but since we...
Yeah, people interpret it as 3 universes because it says everything in existence. It says heaven and earth. You scale Naruto high, you probably scaled the Sharingan to being able to see everything in the universe because it says heaven and earth. So you'd be contradicting yourself if that's the case of what you do. Which, if you don't do that, fair enough. It doesn't matter. It says everything in existence. It says heaven and earth, which translates to the universe in this case because she shakes... Logically, she shook a universe at bare minimum. Like
She shook anything beyond that. That's good for something.
I'm skipping
Furthermore,
past this
she
part,
unleashed some
otherwise I'm going to keep talking about it for another like 5 minutes.
destroyed the entire soul. Already destroyed the entire. Considering the fact that 15 million degrees, which is the heat of the sun, can already destroy the entire Soul Society.
Yeah, the Soul Society planet.
And
Irrelevant.
so, yeah, this is another proof that her energy simply traveled through a gateway. Speaking of Yamamoto's Bankai, this is another proof that the Soul Society is simply in reference to a planet.
Wait, what did you say there?
Yamamoto's Bankai, this supports that her energy simply traveled through a gateway.
What does this have to do with anything?
The entire Soul Society. And supernovas are nowhere near the level where they can shake even galaxies, let alone Yamamoto's Bankai.
How does the like temperature of supernovas have anything to do with them shaking galaxies? What does the temperature of Yamamoto's Bankai have anything to do with being able to shake something? What? Wait, I'll be honest with you. I think I paused the video on the Senjumaru part or just started looking at comments after that part because I don't remember this. What? How does degrees have anything to do with shaking something? Degrees doesn't equal energy. Work done equals... Wait, no. Force times... I forgot the entire formula. Work done is more equal to energy than degrees. Degrees has nothing to do with energy. That's a totally different formula. That's a formula for kinetic energy. No, that's the formula for kinetic energy, which is equivalent to thermal energy, which is equivalent to kinetic energy. It just doesn't make sense. I'm not gonna go through the entire like process of this is equal to this. It doesn't even correlate. The heat isn't shaking the Soul Society. She just released Bankai. Her ability isn't to heat up anything. Her ability is to weave fate. Yeah, weave fate, by the way. That's her ability. No, weave things into reality. She can manipulate reality, not fate. Sorry, my fault. She can weave reality. That's her ability. She can weave ice into reality and, like, freeze people to death. That is her Bankai ability. What does that have anything to do with shaking everything? Why does the supernova being hotter than Yamamoto's Bankai have anything to do with shaking or threatening the Soul Society? It makes no sense.
This is another.
It makes no sense. More proof of Yamamoto being universal, by the way. If Aizen destroys the cleaner, which governs an entire space-time continuum, governs space and time, like, that's at least... It's 3D, like, which still scales anyway in the 3D realm. But it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. If we're going off Kant's theory of reason, the cleaner would scale 4D. Because it's a being made up of reason, which would be made up of time as well. Therefore, physically, the cleaner would be 4D. If we're not going off Kant's reasoning, we'd go off Buddhism ones, which would scale to Nirvana. So I wouldn't scale it to, like, above the Bleach cosmology, personally, cleaner. Realistically, cleaner could scale to 4D. I'm not even going to scale it there. I'm just going to take into the fact that Dangai Ichigo scales below this Yamamoto because of the feats we've seen. I've already mentioned earlier in the stream why Lost Agent Arc is a huge upgrade for Bleach scaling. If you want to see that, I've already put my Discord up in the chat. You can just scroll back into the stream, add me on there. I think somebody might have... Nobody added me, never mind. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't get how this has anything to do with the Senjumaru feat. And in all cases, if he just destroys the planet just by existing... How does that make Yhwach less than planetary at the start of the video? Like, what? I'm doing.
Prove that the society
I'm continuing. I went on. I'm. My brain hurts.
is simply in reference to a planet, considering the fact that once again, the heat of the sun can destroy the whole thing. Makes sense.
The sun is part of the Soul Society because. I just did the exact same face, but like more depressed. Oh no. Oh no, this is. What am I doing? Who am I arguing against? The sun is part of the Soul Society's cosmology as a whole. You can't scale below something that includes something. That's like me saying. That's like me saying. The moon in Naruto. The cosmology of Naruto doesn't scale to the moon, even though the moon is inside the cosmology of Naruto. It's so it's so painful. I accidentally paused my stream for myself. I'm on the wrong thing. We're just gonna.
If the suns got teleported to Earth, it would destroy the entire planet, but it can't destroy.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, if the sun got teleported to Earth, bye bye Earth. If the sun got teleported to Soul Society planet, bye bye Soul Society planet. If the sun got teleported to the sun, supernova probably, maybe, I don't know. If the sun got teleported to the Soul Society universe, it would just be a regular star. Same thing with one living universe. I don't get what your point is. You are just. I've already proven that they are universes. We're gonna go on. I'm not gonna make this like a way more than 2 hour long stream because that's what it's gonna be because I'm only 4 minutes into this video and it's been 30 minutes. No, yeah, it's been at least 30 minutes. I'm just gonna go, and if he says something that's just completely outlandish, I'm gonna comment on it. If he says a new scale, I'm gonna comment on it. I really hope the new scale just doesn't randomly come up because I'm gonna hate the fact that I said this.
Planet from millions of miles away. The Soul Society has to be incredibly small. There is also the argument that they are universes because if the balance is destroyed, the Soul Society will spill or crash into the world of the living and destroy the universe, but that's actually not the correct translation. The direct translation is that the world will be destroyed. And we already explained why this is in a...
This hurts. The universal Soul Society and the universal world of living, everything has a soul. The planets have a soul. Even if it's minuscule, they have a soul. The only difference is the people have way more dense souls than everything else. Everything still counts towards it, but because the people, the cycle of life of Buddhism, only travels between the world of the living and the Soul Society, because it mimics it, if it only travels between those two, that's where the main concentration of souls is, by a large amount. Therefore, if the souls got disrupted in that spot, it would affect everything. It's like having a huge sheet of paper balancing on a single pencil tip. And because that pencil tip falls through, the piece of paper falls.
Reference to planets and not the universe earlier, on top of the first movie literally showing the same phenomenon about to happen, where the Soul Society...
You know what? I'm turning on my face cam and showing you guys this. Where is it? Camera on. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to turn off my camera now. I hope what I just showed makes sense. If it doesn't, womp womp. Respectfully, womp womp. Get better.
That about to crash into each other, and we literally see that this was just in reference to the planets. The stars and everything...
What the fuck is that Yhwach picture? Oh my gosh. He didn't have to use a body double. He stated himself he could just take his Bankai if he wanted to. You have not watched the series, or you just don't bother to look at the context. You just saw random people talk about it and were like, "Oh, I know about this, guys. I got this." Like, it wasn't a body double because he couldn't handle it. He fought Ichibei 2 episodes later or something. He fought Ichibei two episodes later. Kubo stated that Royd used like 70-80% of Yhwach's power. I'm guessing that's Yhwach from 200 years ago. Reason being, if Ichibe's scales above these people who are way stronger than Yamamoto talk down to them, it's pretty obvious that there's a big difference between the Yhwach that was being impersonated and the Yhwach of right now. Especially when we could see like visual implications of that. Such as him being looking the exact same as 200 years ago when you looked at the flashbacks. Anyways, continuing.
Fine, there is no mention of them being affected, only the planets are seen and said to be affected, and only they are moving.
We know that the entire universes were split apart by the Soul King. You know, the same Soul King that might actually scale below Yhwach because of his feats. The same Soul King that might scale below Yhwach because of his feats. The same Yhwach who with those feats, who got one shot by Ichigo twice, who got held back by Aizen, who got intimidated slightly, very slightly, I'm saying, like extremely slightly to the point where you couldn't even call it intimidation, but I'm just going to say it because he had to actually use force. Renji, not trying to be a hater, you're just not in the Yhwach League, Renji. I'm very sorry, but you're just not there yet.
Towards each other. So,
yeah, the double body had 100% of the memories and 78% of the power of the original. What I believe is that I believe Royd, with the 70-80% power, I believe that was Yhwach from 200 years ago, you know, when the extermination happened. Wait, no, but the fight between Yhwach was 1,000 years ago. Yhwach 1,000 years ago looked the same in the flashbacks. Which is why I'm saying it's a Yhwach from 1,000 years ago level of power, not current Yhwach level of power. And also, it wouldn't really make sense, that 70-80 power thing, I think, if it was current Yhwach power, because, you know, yeah, you can't really expect much from Renji. Come on, it's Yhwach. Look at him. Look at Yhwach. We'll continue.
oh yeah, this is another common argument debunked. With that, we've tackled the more reasonable side of Bleach scaling, and now we can move on to the outright wank that people spread.
Oh! The outright wank, because he puts that planetary, so even saying it's star level, it's a wank. But, you know, let's see the outright wank.
Well, there is the argument that Aizen created a star. This is completely...
If Aizen created a star, it wouldn't be that much of an upscale. Just want to make that clear, it wouldn't be much of an upscale. It's not like Vast Holiday Ichigo, like in the Coffee own world. It's not like it was stated that he shakes all the way Kamundo, but you're not gonna say that because you are very opinionated.
false because we quite literally see that this is a fake sky, both the manga and anime.
Yeah, whatever. This doesn't really change much. We're gonna skip this.
There's even a crazy statement that states White and Uhura can shake all of Hueco Mundo, which
Yeah, Vast Holiday shakes all of Hueco Mundo planet. Planet specifically. I'm not sure if he shakes more than that. I'm saying planet because I don't want to sound like a highballer.
contains infinite sand.
That Clyde. Actually, would Hueco Mundo itself be the universe? But there's a moon, so it wouldn't make sense. I don't know how Hueco Mundo works. Okay. I don't know. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. That doesn't change anything of what I said. And him doing this, I want to see his debunk actually.
The second argument is that Was Noches is infinite because the datbook says that it has infinite sand. By definition, infinite can simply mean something that you cannot count.
The issue with that is there's multiple statements from different sources. Confe Your Own World states that there's infinite reishi in Hueco Mundo because a guy can make infinite soldiers. It's just another infinite statement. Now that there's two, now that there's multiple, is it more valid? Is it less valid? Is it just still countlessly great or immense or indefinitely large? When there's multiple infinite statements, you know, you have to take it with a grain of salt. I'm not going to scale Hueco Mundo anywhere right now. I'm just saying that him just straight up saying it's not the case without even looking further into it and looking at the fact that there's multiple statements, that says something.
Grains of say this should be
Ooh.
because a character says that he has an infinite amount of souls at his disposal. First of all, this is completely false because we quite literally see that the Valley of the Screams is located between two planets which we see aren't far from each other. They were like 100,000 kilometers.
Do you know how 400,000 kilometers is? Like that wasn't a visual, that was a visual representation of how far they were, but it wasn't actually how far they were. You forget the Dangai is in between them. That shows, that's maybe a representation of close. I'm just, first of all, gravity wasn't affecting that. I already mentioned that earlier this stream. I'm going to keep going.
Away from each other at best, so the Valley of the Screams is quite small. Secondly, infinite can simply mean something ever-growing or continuous, which makes sense since we know that the souls are recycled from Earth and the Soul Society, and with each recycling some fall in the value of screams. Furthermore, that would require the Soul Society and Earth to also have infinite population, considering the fact that they are bigger and they have more souls, yet we know that's not true. Infinite people haven't even existed for there to be infinite souls in the literal sense, so
If Hueco Mundo has an infinite amount of reishi, or is endless, and if the world living in society are complete separate universes that are space-time continuums, including the fact that Garganta is infinite and it has reishi inside of it, which means there's infinite reishi in the Garganta, it is very, 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 very much possible for there to be infinite souls.
yeah, when they say infinite here, they're simply referring to continuous flow of souls. Bleach fans, much like Dragon Ball fans, continuously flop with the term infinite and make complete fools out of themselves. There are three claims I've seen people use that Bleach characters are planet busters since early on, which are world destruction statements, quote-unquote. For Menuses, for the Soyoku, and for Ichigo in Hellverse. This is a garbage argument.
One of those are non-canon. The other one I don't know about. The Sokyoku one is accurate because I actually kind of want to see his defense against that, because I completely rebunked it when I talked with when in my Drip video, and Drip agreed with it.
Because the world can simply mean society or humanity.
Oh yeah, society and humanity, but they're talking about the Soul Society, they're not talking about the Serate. The Serate is the society. They're talking about the Soul Society, which is the planet. And that's still a low ball if people would consider it a universe. But I'm saying it's a planet.
And destruction doesn't necessarily entail that you can just throw a single attack and vaporize the whole thing. It can
That is literally what the Sokyoku entails. That is literally what the Sokyoku... The Sokyoku is literally evaporates souls to a molecular level. But it only targets that soul. If it targeted the Soul Society, it would evaporate it. That is literally what the Sokyoku... I have images of this. This is the reason Aizen wanted to use the Sokyoku. Is literally just because it evaporates the soul, so it'll be easier to extract the Hogyoku. Like, it's made so blatantly obvious. Like, read this, guys. Like, there are two ways of removing a foreign object from a Konpaku. The Konpaku can be made to evaporate by super high intensity thermal destruction, such as the Sokyoku. Or the Konpaku can be tampered with. The Konpaku can be made to evaporate by super high intense thermal disruption, such as the Sokyoku. Evaporate. Evaporate. And if it can destroy the entire Soul Society, dozens of times over, by the way, because it gets way stronger, I'm pretty sure it can evaporate it, because that's its whole purpose. Super high intense thermal disruption. But you know, I don't... Us, it's like the JJK meme. Us Bleach fans don't read our own manga. Us Bleach fans don't read our own manga. I doubt he's even a Bleach fan.
Simply mean that you can destroy it over a period.
It might be, but definitely not Bleach Powerscalling, man.
Time. And destruction also doesn't necessarily mean that you can turn it into nothing or anything like that. It can simply mean to ruin it or put a lot of damage on it.
Okay. I already proved why it would be way more than that. But if you think ruining or demolishing, that would still scale, you know, somewhere, you know, especially since it's a Soul Society arc. But specifically the Sokyoku, I'm not talking about the other two. Specifically the Sokyoku, that would destroy the planet. Like, it would evaporate, because we know about this. It could destroy seated level officers, lieutenant level officers, and probably captain. I don't know about the execution, but Ruki is a seated level officer. That is like top 10, top 20, I don't know. But she's a seated level officer, and she literally in 2 years becomes a captain. So someone of that level of Reishi or Ryotsu growth being able to be killed by the Sokyoku is more than enough evidence they can destroy a planet.
So these statements by themselves quite literally scale nowhere. So just
not to mention that lieutenants have to wear a mark on them so they don't affect the entire planet's like existence just by existing in the world of the living. Gonna remind you of that, you know. Just a little reminder.
Bunch of headcanon. The final thing regarding the manga that we can discuss is Muken. People claim that Muken is infinite and therefore universal, yeah, that's...
There's two different ways of scaling Muken. I'm going to make my ways very obvious. Then we're going to watch his because I don't really want to argue against it. One, Muken can be infinite, but in the data book stated to be appearing as infinite, so it could just be a big bubble or big land underneath the Soul Society, which is infinite by quotation marks. Or two, it's a pocket dimension, which is a theory I've had for a while. It hasn't been confirmed, but it would make sense if they're harboring Aizen there, like, and Aizen was just sitting there while those two were fighting. Like, if Aizen wanted to escape, he would just have to flex his Reiatsu upwards. He almost shot down the, like, palace. True. But Aizen almost shot down the royal palace. Like, if his energy wasn't limited, he would have shot it. We saw how low the ceiling of the Muken was. Like, in my opinion, it makes a lot of sense for it to be a pocket dimension, but I don't want to go headcanon into this. I'm just gonna say Muken doesn't matter anyways, because even if Muken, like, what's the point of saying Muken is infinite when nobody ever does anything to the Muken? Nobody does anything to the Muken, and we can already scale the Soul Society to a universe. And then Gremmy imagines galaxy clusters, and then can't imagine Kenpachi's power. What is the point of Muken? We can already scale a multi-galaxy to even maybe universal Kenpachi. Because, you guys get my point here? Is this coming across well? Okay, we continue.
It's not true because the manga directly states that it only gives you a sense of infinity. It's not actually...
That's the thing I mentioned.
...infinite. And even the databook states that the realm simply gives the illusion that it's infinite.
Wait, I have to... Give me a second. Give me a second. I just want to go reread something real quick.
Today I was asked to talk about Muken, so let's do it. Is it really a mistranslation? Also a fairly obvious one, which basically means Muken, as its name suggests, or implies, Ichibun, so without a gap, it's closed, completely and utterly shut. This is how you catch people out for using translators, because the furigana is Ichibun rather than Ippun, which is a minute. So there's no gap, not time.
There's no time in the Muken. There's no gap, no minute. Though that might be... I'm not gonna... Okay. First of all, I'm not saying this like, oh, Muken has no time, it's universal, all of this. I'm just saying Muken could be argued a pocket dimension because of the way time works and the way this and this works in it. Because there are some statements in the manga which I'm going off a secondary source, so I'm not going to say this is the case, but there are some ways of making Muken more accurately a pocket dimension rather than anything. I'm just going to say that. Ignore the time statement I made, but just off of that. Like, yeah. Wait, it closes in a matter of minutes, so faster. Yeah, this is the thing. This is the thing I was talking about. It doesn't close in a matter of minutes. There's no gap. That's what I was talking about. I wasn't saying there was no time. I just said there's no time here. It doesn't close in a matter of minutes. That's a mistranslation. There's no time. It has no gap. It closes in no gap. It's a mistranslation. Just in case, I'm gonna retranslate it, because like he uses specifically this translation. So, and he's using Google Translate, by the way, which very, very inaccurate. Proven to be very inaccurate at times. So, you know, I wouldn't trust that translation anyways. Oh, there's free Nitro on Discord for anybody wondering. If anybody's into those free Nitros. Actually, wait, no, maybe there isn't. Ignore me. Might have made a rookie mistake of saying something without knowing if it's 100% the case. Okay. Back to Discord. I'm going to post another translation in the chat. You guys can translate it if you want, just to confirm what I'm translating for. I'm going to put it on stream anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's not like that's like the biggest source of confirmation you can get. I even face cammed, so like you guys know I'm here. Anyways, here's another translation. I'm going to pop that into DeepL, which most accurate translator from what we know. Ah, yeah, there we go. See, mistranslation. I called it. I called it. I called it. Would you look at that? Look who's using mistranslations. Look who's using mistranslations. It instantly closes. Well, not instantly. Without a moment's notice, it closes. Of course, it says given the illusion of an endless expanse of space, but that could just like refer to it more being a pocket dimension. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying I'm a firm believer that if it ends up being said to be a pocket dimension, it would make so much sense. Just want to say that, especially the anime stated that it's directly infinite, which is fact checked by Kubo. Like he would have, if in the data book he said it gives the illusion of being an endless expanse of space, and then in the anime it says it is infinite. You know, I'm not gonna get too much into it, but like he is showing a mistranslation here. It doesn't close in a matter of minutes, and it doesn't elude that it's an infinitely expanding space. It gives the illusion that it is an endless expand of space, which if it eludes you into thinking it is an endless expanse of space, but it closes in a moment's notice, it's a very sticky thing. Like I wouldn't scale it infinite because it doesn't really affect the scaling of Bleach in any way, but it's just something to keep in mind. He did show a mistranslation, so just keep that in mind as well.
It without being such. So this entire argument is irrelevant. With this out of the way,
Yeah, it is relevant. Yeah, you're right. Because it doesn't affect my scaling or your scaling in any sort of way. Bleach still scales low multiversal minimum.
Because the scaling of movie 2 and movie 4 is the claim that
Non-canon, non-canon, non-canon.
Kosaka is multiversal because he has the...
Oh, wait. It's not canon, so I'm not going to talk about it.
I mean that I can flick with maybe a bottle, maybe an entire pool.
Why is it sped up?
Maybe an ocean, we don't know. This being implied to simply be time travel and teleportation hacks and stuff like that. Nothing about it.
This is not canon.
Hell with a bit
Not canon.
The power for Aizen, who is much above Ichigo, is hyping up the power to warp space.
Bro, like, why does he speed it up?
To a high extent. Hypes up being able to warp space with his strongest move, even saying that it's beyond Ichigo's understanding, despite Ichigo's scaling to Aizen, and he even claims that this attack transcends both Shinigami and Ho. Keep in mind that we literally see the inside of the attack and the light is undistorted, the light is fine, and in a black hole the light is very distorted, which means that the black hole actually has stronger gravity despite Ichigo's scaling to Aizen, and he even claims that this attack transcends both Shinigami and Ho. Keep in mind that we literally see the inside of the attack and the light.
Fun fact, you see the inside of the attack, but that isn't actually an attack being cast. The attack is cast once the coffin is finished forming. So you can never actually see the light within it. Also, it says that the stored space to beyond anybody's comprehension, we can comprehend. Oh, what's this? Anime script. Okay. Oh, okay. I'll pop downstream. I'm guessing this is the anime script for Muken. I don't know if it's 100% true, but chat gave this to me. You guys can see this. The chief orders Muma's name is applied completely closed, infinitely wide. That's why it's decided to be the only place to wield your sword freely. Otherwise, we who are not criminals. Infinitely wide. Yeah, it's just more stuff supporting the idea either of it being a pocket dimension or just actually being infinite in some way. But yeah, the black coffin only happens after it's fully closed. So saying that light gets distorted or it has to be distorted beforehand is not the case, because we only ever see it take effect once it's already closed. We don't see people get ripped apart while it's still forming. And if the distortion is beyond someone's comprehension, we can still comprehend like the amount of space a black hole distorts. It distorts to the point of a singularity. If it's beyond that of a singularity, in reality, scaling it to a black hole would be multisolar. Or solar, something like that. Even galaxy level, or large galaxy, it would scale anywhere there. Being beyond that, it would scale Galaxy Plus, realistically, this feat. But I'm not going to go too far there. This feat doesn't change anything in the grand scheme of things.
It isn't distorted, the light is fine, and in a black hole the light is very distorted, which means that the black hole actually has stronger gravity than this move, and Aizen is still having it up despite it being weaker than a black hole, saying it's beyond Ichigo's understanding. It transcends Shinigami. This gap
being beyond someone's understanding in a verse that actually has cosmology and actually talks about constellations and works just like our normal world would be beyond the understanding of a black hole. So, yeah, especially with the thing I mentioned that it only happens when it closes, and the fact that Ichigo's just able to withstand it and break it open is a feat. So,
tier attack that can solve pretty much anyone else, that transcends them, that is beyond their understanding. By extension, he scales the power of a black hole above vast world Ichigo. Anybody else in the verse for that matter. When Senjumaru was acting smugly about having the power to shake 3 planets, and keep in mind
It wasn't 3 planets, I already mentioned this. You already made yourself look like a fool 5 minutes ago in your video.
that shaking dirt is only multi-continental to moon level, shaking 2 additional planets isn't making it that much more impressive, so there's that as well. So no, the characters are not universal, this is based on this Yhwach. Grammy created a universe. Very simple rebuttal to that is that this universe is actually not as
Oh my gosh, he actually still is speed up. That's so painful.
big as a real one. It's impossible for the human mind to imagine something as big as a planet or a star, and when we imagine such things, we imagine a much smaller.
His entire power is a hacks. It's supposed to be beyond his limitations. What? That's the whole point of his power. He's given the power from Yhwach. That is not his innate power. He's given it from Yhwach, a guy who can reforge the entire old universe and is on par with his father who separated the 3 universes. Being able to affect that of that scale and able to give other people power to be comparable to that or do some sort of level of that is understandable.
Version of them. Don't imagine them in their full size. We quite literally see that the planets and stars are smaller than Grammy's head when they come out of it.
What? What kind of headcanon is this? You blame us for headcanon if we say that like Senjumaru shaked more than the planets, but you're saying that this is not headcanon? Visual representations at the bottom of Kubo's pages, like that is just implying that he can imagine space. That is literally just confirming what we are talking about. Saying that they are smaller than his mind after being shown that they are not. If you're implying that he can, hey, here's an issue. Here's a direct issue.
It's impossible for the human mind to imagine something as big as a planet or a star, and they come out of it, and on top...
He said it's impossible for someone to imagine something as big as a star or a planet. Then he proceeds to say it is possible for him to imagine stuff that is smaller than him, even though we saw him imagine stuff bigger than him. If there's a physical feat demonstrating what happened, and if you're saying it's not possible, but it literally happened, that's like saying, I sent you a message. No, you didn't. But you're staring at a message being sent at you. No, you didn't. It's literally right there. No, you didn't. That is so just, that, I don't know what to call that. Saying that Grammy doesn't even scale to anything because the planets coming out of his head are smaller than him here, that is just a visual representation that he can imagine space. That is not to be taken literally. That is not part of the story. That is just a little illustration in the manga. Do you know how much Kubo likes drawing his characters? If you don't know, after you saw the Beach episode, he drew a manga panel of the woman from the Beach episode, and he actually redrew it for Club Outside. He loves drawing his characters. He probably enjoyed drawing this, especially because he had a torn right shoulder. Like, look at context before saying anything. Like, this has nothing to do with power scaling. Like, nothing at all. I'm bringing more context into this than I should, but I'm just giving as much context as I can to prove that this does not matter.
Of that,
It's
Grammy
so
quite
dumb.
literally needed to double his imagination and power in order...
I'm sorry, I just accidentally...
How strong is
that was an
seeing
accident.
people else in the verse and spawn it? Yes, the gal
This literally disproves his point.
Imagination and
This
power
disproves-
in order to imagine them.
If he can multiply his... 1 second. If he says a single human being or a human being cannot imagine stars or planets, but if he can double his existence, double his mind capacity, increase his mind capacity to do so, how are you going to keep saying that he can't do that? It makes no sense. You are literally debunking yourself. You are contradicting your own statement.
Meteor and spawn, he simply imagined which we discussed. This means that Grammy didn't imagine an actual universal space, he simply imagined a replica of an actual universe. Planets and stars that are much smaller than real ones. Which we discussed. The equivalent of an entire Grammys in order to create it and spawn it. Yes, the Galaxy Room didn't even require 10 Grammys in order to create it, which means that the Galaxy Room isn't the equivalent of an entire universe. Less than 10.
That doesn't matter. We don't know he says his power doubles. We already know that that's not the case because he literally, that literally gets debunked by the fact that we see it's an exponential increase.
Times that meteor, which we discussed. This means that Grammy didn't imagine an actual universe of space, he simply imagined a replica of an actual universe. Planets and stars that are much smaller than real ones.
Give me a second, I just wanna... One of the definitions of replica is an exact copy of something. Your own terminology is going against you.
Interpretation is much more consistent with the actual story and with how Grammy's ability actually works. While Ratatouille can also tackle wise and destroy Kotatsu, people claim that Kotatsu is universal proofs because he can control space-time.
You are literally... If he doesn't debunk that scan, he's proven the point. Because he knows that exists, but he has not talked about it at all. He has not debunked it at all.
But as we've discussed earlier, this is literally meaningless. We don't know how much space-time he can affect at a single time.
He can affect the entire space-time continuums of both the Soul Society and World of the Living. He'd done it before.
Quite literally scales nowhere, on top of the fact that this can simply be in reference to its ability to time travel. Overall, this is irrelevant.
No, he can't time travel. He just literally moves around space-time.
And scales nowhere, but actually it does scale somewhere. It scales below a black hole, considering a strong horizon was hyping something below a black hole. Overall, the strongest character in Bleach would be the Soul King in his prime, who would be planetary, and the
planetary, but did he split a big planet into 3 other planets, one of them being Earth, which would scale above planetary anyways? Like, even in your own argument, it doesn't make sense. This is the worst Bleach scale, I think. I actually didn't even watch it the whole way through the first time I watched it. I just realized I should have been glad I didn't. I'm glad I had other people here to watch it with me. Oh wait, Grimmy Life. Yeah, Grimmy Colored's Life as well. So
the rest of the top tiers would be between multi-continental and planetary as well. Possibly we can make the argument that these characters are Dwarf Star level, but even then that would only apply to the God tiers, especially considering the fact that Aizen hyped up something much below that. Something I'm gonna briefly debunk is the claim that the Dangai is a higher dimension because he's been referred to as a Akukan, which in Japanese can mean a hyperspace. The issue is that it can also mean a subspace, which is a completely different thing and is actually...
Yeah, but it wouldn't mean a subspace because it has a totally different... It's a totally different space-time continuum, which you proved by yourself by showing that it's a space-time. You stated yourself that it's space-time inside your video.
The more common usage of the word. The subspace merely means a space that is located within another space. This fits the definition of the Dangai, considering the fact that it's located within the Garganta. This is also consistent with the Dangai being depicted as nothing more than just a pipeline that connects the...
Yeah, but that wouldn't apply because it's a space-time. I understand the hyperspace part. I understand that being a subspace. Fair enough, you could say it's a subspace. It is within that. Fair. That's actually a good reason you gave. You have not debunked the fact that it's a space-time. I know, but like he at least makes a reasoning for it. He at least tries to argue something for the first time in this video, or second time maybe. But I'm gonna say first time he actually makes a valid counter argument that you have to think about. But it's still a space-time. You have not debunked that. The fact that it's a space-time would imply that it can be a hyperspace. Just because a subspace is something that's in something else, it doesn't really mean anything. Because a subspace is a space inside of another space. Yes, we know that. However, we know that a hyperspace is if something's stated to be a hyperspace, and there's like... It is stated multiple times to be a hyperspace, by the way. It is stated multiple times to be a hyperspace. Even the raw translation of the French, even the raw translation of the English states that it's a hyperspace. You can argue that it's a subspace, but it wouldn't make sense because it has countless amounts of time currents. It has its own separate time axis that's 2,000 times denser than everybody else. It could be it's its own space STC, space-time continuum. Therefore, it cannot be a subspace. A subspace would not have its own time axis because it's not within just another space. It would be a hyperspace. Like, it has its own time axis, therefore it cannot be a subspace. Because even though it's within another space, it itself can harbor pocket dimensions because it has a time axis. A subspace is a space with 3 or less dimensions. The Dangai is minimum 3 spatial dimensions, 1 time dimension, not being 4D because of special relativity, but could be argued 4D because of the fact that it's a hyperspace. By the way, Person came back. At that point, Kuroko stopped speaking momentarily. The wrinkles on his brow furrowed all the more deeply. Since it could possibly have been that several thousand, even tens of thousands of compact many fragments of rail could sprain down be able to withstand the turbulent waters of spiritual pressure such as the vortex of chaotic consciousness. On top of that, the ability to instantaneously create outer space where it previously. I'm guessing you're talking about Gremmy's brain. If you are, I think I got that along the line.
Two worlds, and it would consistently being depicted as thinner than the 2 worlds.
That's just showcasing it as a pipeline, as a sort of passageway. It is not literally like that. You forget that Rukia draws Soul Reapers as bunnies. As bunnies. You shouldn't take the art within too literally like that. I already explained why it wouldn't just. Oh, fuck's sake, I keep doing that. I already explained why it wouldn't just be a pipeline, why it wouldn't just be a gateway. So, this isn't valid.
If the Dangai was truly a hard dimension, its width, length, and height would all have to be more than infinitely bigger than the world of the living in the society, which isn't the infinitely bigger than the world of the living in the society, which isn't the case, and it would also have been.
That's just a passageway they use to get there faster. Because you have to go through the Dangai, you can open up the Senkaimon into the Dangai and then open up the Senkaimon again within the Dangai to get to the Soul Society. You're not traveling the entire Dangai. That's a bad argument.
Way more than just a pipeline between the 2 worlds. Speaking of the Garganta, there is the argument that the Garganta is a hard dimension because it contains the world of the living and the society. It contains multiple 3-dimensional worlds, but that's not actually true because 3-dimensional worlds can contain smaller 3-dimensional worlds. It's literally how pocket dimensions work. If you want evidence for that happening in Bleach, we have Yukio's pocket dimension quite literally residing within the world of the living. We also have Gremmy's galaxy room in the novel being stated to be located within the Serete, which are 2 examples of 3-dimensional worlds being contained within bigger 3-dimensional.
Wait, let's go back a bit.
Gremmy's galaxy room in the novel being stated to be located within the Serete, which are 2 examples of 3-dimensional worlds being contained within bigger 3-dimensional.
But those aren't bigger 3-dimensional worlds. They're space-time continuums that are not inside of something, but rather surrounded by something, therefore being 4D. Thank you to my friend on Instagram again. I will not be unless you wanna. But yeah, they are 4D. They are not 3D. You are wrong. I already proved the point.
Worlds. Oh, this also debunks Gremmy's galaxy room being as big as people say as well, and proves that the stars we see are simply much smaller than real stars, considering the fact that.
Huh? So you're acknowledging the fact that they're stars. Now, acknowledging the fact that they're stars already disproves your point of them just being planets, because if everything was one universe and it was all split apart into 3, it would mean you would have to affect all of that. But your argument they're all in the same universe, which I already disproved, which if your argument is truly valid and they actually did get split apart away into different separate universes, your argument will no longer be the case. There's so many contradictions in your argument, it doesn't make sense.
It is located within the Serete, which is in reference to the city in the Soul Society, not the whole Soul Society. So yeah, that's been it for this video. Make sure to like it so that you can show support, and also make sure to subscribe to my channel for more awesome content like that and more accurate powers.
That's the entire video. Oh my gosh. This was painful. This was actually a painful experience. He wasn't even in the. I wasn't even in cool with him, and I felt pain. Okay. Does anybody in the comments, not comments, chat, wanna say anything? Anything you wanna argue? I literally anything. I've read this. I don't know if this is you're talking about Gremmy's brain. Are you talking about Gremmy's brain? The tens of thousands of complex who many fragments array, the Quincy brain that would be able to withstand turbines of water spatial pressure. Is it like its ability to instantly create outer space? I'm guessing you're just talking about Gremmy's brain. I don't know where that's from, by the way. Like, I actually don't know where that's from. Accurate, factual, in quotation marks. You know, actually, that's gonna be funny. Bop. You're the star of the show now. You're the star of the show. I'm gonna keep that on for the rest of the stream at this point. Because that's literally how I felt watching these last two videos. I've only managed to get through half my water bottle because of how much I had to say. It's from the novel Confio and World. Okay. Yeah, I read Confio and that. It's been a long while since I read it. And I haven't read all of it, so. And there's three, so I don't even know which one it's from. Yeah, but that does just further prove my point. Like, the illustration of him having small planets coming out of his head, that's just an illustration. It's not part of the actual panels. It's just Kubo having fun at the end of writing the manga and actually trying to get through it. If you hear Kubo's story, you'd more so sympathize with the fact that Gremmy's dead than anything else. It's funny. Anything else, you guys? I'm gonna hold up the stream for. I don't know how long the stream has been up. Over 2 hours. Damn it, Jesus! I've been at this for over 2 hours. I think it's like 2.5 hours. About to be. Oh, for anybody in the stream, I already mentioned this earlier in the stream, but I might not do power scaling again. I might occasionally do it, but more like stream. Because I've noticed I don't want to do full scale videos anymore. That was like, I just didn't like it. I'd rather do a stream like this. I get to interact with you guys and stuff. So if there's like any power scale you want, usually respond to this stream. If not, I'm usually going to put it out post. And if you guys really want a power scale debunk or something, it will usually be for Bleach. It will usually be for Bleach, but if there's something else that I'm actually like willing to talk about, I'm gonna put it out there as well. Just check my community page if you want to. I'm planning on switching to a new channel where I'm actually gonna start uploading more frequently, because this channel, it's kind of just been like a hobby thing. I just want to upload more frequently than another one. So I'm gonna link that channel if you guys want me to link it, but your choice. This channel will still occasionally do power scaling, but only if it's like requested. Because the only reason the stream happened is because it was requested. I was planning on just doing a power scaling a one-time video thing for Drip Source, but I saw a lot of requests on that video saying, "Do the key, talk about key, this and this." So yeah. It wouldn't make sense for the stars to be outside the Garganta because it refers to everything. Literally everything. What's this? Oh, that's the factual accurate thing. Let's get rid of you. Hold that up there. It just wouldn't make sense. Hell predate the cosmology if yeah. Yeah, this was actually both is painful when it comes to talking about the actual like topic at hand, but like I like the fact that it was much more interactive than the previous video, where I just occasionally say something to somebody in the comments. This time I actually got to speak about it, so if I ever do power scaling, it will be streams, and like usual, it will be probably a power scaling when I'm bringing this back up on a stream. I just realized I accidentally like lined up the live debunk part perfectly with the like gray part. That's funny. just a natural at very like. This took me like 2 minutes to make. Natural at 2 minute thumbnails. Anyways, let's close that. I no longer want to see keys videos on my page. I had enough key for one day. Okay, I accidentally opened Minecraft again. I have to stop doing this. This second time this stream. I'm gonna put you down here. Text layer. Oh, okay. Key 0, me 1. just slap that one there. Just make it big. Key 0, me 1. Yeah, this worth it. Valid, guys. Yeah, it was my first debunk, so I think like the first like 10 to 15 minutes with me just trying to figure out how to do this and how to actually say stuff in real time. What should I say? Like, cause I can't do it like I usually would. Like when you're typing, you have time to think. Okay, say this next, say this next. I kind of got the hang of it. Yeah. Key 0, me 1. I'm gonna put this up here because this is actually something relevant. Yeah. I need to change the color of that. That's painfully difficult. Select color to C. I'm gonna put it there because that's oddly like really easy. No, where is it easy to see? Oh wait, actually I could just wait. I have an idea. This is gonna look disgusting, but I have an idea. And then, just so it isn't as disgusting, change this to white. Yeah, master designer. I go film school for this. Master designer. This is why I go film school, to make shit like this. Oh, this. Yeah, that's gonna be new channel that I'm making. I'm gonna be posting a video on there, probably like starting to post in the next week or two. I'm gonna be moving away from this channel probably, unless I have something I want to post just as a what's it called? Well, if I can find the channel now, give me a second. Damn. Well, when I post my first video, it'll probably show up. But yeah. New channel will be called that. I'm actually gonna get the link to that channel right now, actually. I'm so glad that didn't show up on the other page. Ooh. Add account. Bop. For anybody who's actually interested, I'm gonna post it here. There we go. Go YouTube. Close that. Channel. The link to the channel. Post that in there. That's the YouTube channel. I'm actually going to post that elsewhere as well, just for the sake of it, on my Discord server. Which isn't publicly open, I will say that. I do have a Discord server that I might open for like Powerscalling people, if you guys really want it. Which is honestly just called cosmology scaling, but it's practically like empty. Like I made a couple chats and that's it. I don't even know if I'm gonna make it mainly based on like cosmology. I might not. Though of course, my unique thing is like cool like VCs for like specific types of debates. Like if you find somebody who like has a very bad take, I've made VCs in this Discord server that I might invite people to. I might just give away the Discord server. I know, just to another person that does Powerscalling that's popular on Discord. But like there's rehabilitation VCs for people that have very horrendous takes, and I know exactly where this entire debate that we had this entire stream would go in one of those. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Guys, 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 would you look at this? You know, there's leaked content for the next episode of Bleach. Who's willing to see something that's new anime only and literally just is the perfect time to look at right now? Like, I'm not even joking. Like, actually, like, this is genuinely, like, perfect for this video. I've set it up. You guys just have to say, click on it, and I'll click on it. This literally supports my entire argument as well. Like, I'm not joking. I just got Bleach leaks just now. Like, 20 minutes ago, and I wasn't looking at them. Like, there's 4 people in the stream right now. If you're watching, whoever wants to see them, let me know. I'll pop them up on screen. Because this kind of just confirms Bleach as a universe. It's not even a major, like, thing. It's just a screenshot from the anime. Probably next episode. Am I still like figures? Okay, yeah, I'm still talking. Just have to make sure. Sometimes I wonder if my audio still works. Okay, people want to see it. There's the anime. There's been leaks. There's a Aizen leak, Ukitake leak, Jugram leak, 2 Uryu, 1 Shinsui, and Baro. You're absolutely right. This is literally from the new anime. It's coming out. Keep in mind, supervised by Kubo. He's practically upscaling the verse unintentionally. Or intentionally. If you guys want to see more, let me know, because there's 3 more leaks that dropped. So, I guess this is a leak stream. I guess this is a leak stream now, guys. It's a leak stream. I'm gonna pop this up here so it's not in the way, and move you slightly down. It's a leak stream now, guys. Welcome to Bleach Leaks. Today we're leaking Bleach. I'm gonna change the title to Spoilers. Including anime leaks. Cause that's amazing. I love this. This just straight up like it's like the perfect time for this to pop up. Oh boy, we're eating goodness here. Does anybody else want to see? Okay, so there's aren't that much of spoilers, but these are 2 shots. One of Ukitake, one of Aizen. Aizen. This is a shot of Aizen that we got from the leaks. This is a shot we got. And the shot of Ukitake, which looks beautiful, might I say. This man is looking better than Gojo ever could. I'm gonna get rid of the star one. Oh, yeah, I showed it too early. You guys didn't see anything. It was only there for a split second. But not Jugram, Ukitake is looking beautiful right now. Oh, no homo. Well, no homo. I questioned myself. Okay, do you guys want to see the rest? Because there's like 5 more. Did it just show up on screen for a split second? Please tell me it showed up on screen for a split second. Because if it did, you might have saw one of the leaks for a split second there. You know, I'm already leaking it. I already leaked a couple things. I'm just going to throw in the next one. It's not a huge leak, but it's kind of... The opening releases tomorrow. Anyways, there's a scene from the opening coming up. I'm gonna put it on screen right now. I'm just giving everybody a warning. The next is gonna be a warning, so if you wanna like turn off the screen, I'll let you know when it goes away. But here are the rest of the leaks. They're very blurred since some of them are not able to be gotten in time. But this is the leaks. I don't know if the Jugram one is from the game, which I'm guessing is not the case. The Jugram one is either from Resonance, Soul Resonance, or it's from the opening or ending. One of those two. But the top 4 are 100% from the anime. I don't know where the Jugram one is from, but the top 4 are 100% from the anime. The bottom one might even be from Knives Out, the thing that literally blew up Bleach on Twitter. Shunsui and Lil Baro in gray. I don't know if that's just that scene, but this is like, this looks really good. I love the shading. Like, it honestly looks clean. You could, I think it might be a little bit of the blur, but Shunsui looks a little bit off, but I'm guessing it's just the blur. I can still really tell the detail. They put a lot of work into that. Just a basic audio shot here, nothing really crazy, but this, the framing and compositing of Senjumaru and Uryu looking at each other, oof, that's good. And of course the Yhwach on the throne. Wait, Yhwach on the throne? Is that Yhwach on the throne before or after all of the Soul Palace stuff? Because I'm guessing it's after, and that would mean we get to see Yhwach on the throne with Ichigo approaching him. That fight either happens in this core or in the next one, or it's just teased in this core. This is, ooh, we're eating good. We're eating good, guys. We're eating good. Okay, spoilers are away for those who want, spoilers are away. But like, you could always go back and look. Oh, they weren't fully on screen. I'm sorry, guys. I'm bringing it back. They weren't fully on screen. I'm bringing it back. Okay. Man, I sometimes forget how long this stream is. Yeah, here they are. Here they are. Sorry for the disappointment of like cutting off 2 of the images. Like, there we go. That compositing on Uryu and Senjumaru up there is what I was talking about. This part. Oh, accidentally zoomed in now. That was an accident. Anyways, I think that's back to how it was. But yeah, this looks really good. This looks really good. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that now. Damn. Uryu stock's going up. I have his figure. I have a figure of him. I might actually put it on stream if you guys want me to. Like the 1000-Year Blood War one, I have it. How do I... But like, generally, there's this one True Shikai Ichigo one from the first core where like, the like ripped up robes and stuff, which honestly, that is my most favorite Ichigo look, sort of. I'm not gonna say which one is my actual most favorite because it's not in, but True Shikai Ichigo is clean as hell. Oh yeah, he did. I didn't even realize that. Man, I'm so good at looking at stuff, guys. Like, I didn't even realize he had wings in it. Oh, that's just amazing. That's just peak streaming from me, guys. Anyways, I'm gonna end the stream here. Maybe. Depends if somebody has something to say about Key or something like that. But I'm planning to end the stream here. Give it a moment for the stream to catch up. Bro finally has the chimes of the bells. Dong, dong, playing in the background. Good sound choice. I just want more sound effects. Like, I feel like they are lacking a bit in the sound effects department last season. Like, it didn't feel like there was enough sound effects. Like, It was, but like they didn't feel. You know when sound effects are like not impactful. Like Gin's Soul Crush, like one of my friends says from the Society when he crushed the entirety of the Ryoka. The Ichigo's Getsugo Jujisho was the most iconic one, and what they did was put a rocket ship. Finally, Daemon fans. True. Is it caught up? I just full screened my own stream. That's crazy. I'll be taking my leave now. Farewell, everybody. By hopefully most people's standards, debunked Key's arguments. By most people's standards, hopefully debunked Key's arguments. And yeah, I think I'm gonna head out now. Bye, chat. Gotta leave this on stream for a second. Once again, I'll put one more time the new YouTube link to the channel I'm gonna switch to. Mostly, this channel is gonna be like regular uploads. It's gonna start in like a week or two, depends. I do have like my mid-term college thing happening, so there's that. But after that, or around that time, I will be definitely starting to upload there. I might still do Powerscalling here, but yeah. Bye, everybody. Good night, good morning, depends on where you are. Welcome back from school to all the, I guess Americans. They're like coming back from school now. Good night, everybody in like mid-Asia. People are asleep in Japan probably right now, and good morning, Hawaii. I don't know. There's time zones mess me up sometimes. I'm guessing I got it right this time though. If I'm in England. So yeah. Anyways, bye everybody.